at sunequip.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. An unusual development for the Jets and Hassan Reddick. 4.5 months after he was traded by the Eagles to New York, the edge rusher wants out. Officially requested a trade from the Jets. ESPN's Adam Schefter.
Now, it's an interesting situation because, again, he's yet to show up to the team, and he's already requested a trade. And when the Jets traded for him from the Philadelphia Eagles, they were under the assumption that he would report and that they would work through any contractual issues. But he never showed up. They never worked through the contractual issues.
The Jets have informed Reddick they will not trade him. Chiefs receiver Marquise Brown won't need surgery for his dislocated shoulder. His status for the season opener is uncertain. Giants rookie receiver Malik Neighbors day-to-day with a low ankle sprain. The Browns plan for quarterback Deshaun Watson to play in their last preseason game. It would be his first game action since last November's season-ending shoulder surgery. Major League Baseball suspended Red Sox outfielder Jarren Duran 2 games for directing an anti-gay slur at a fan during yesterday's loss. Duran apologized via a statement last night.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy. Coming up Tuesday, I'll tell you if a healthy Anthony Richardson will do enough to make the Colts a playoff contender. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Muso. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. LSU is back on the practice field Monday. Saints-Cardinals recap. Bill Bender here. AP Top 25 is out. Ton to do. Let us begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
LSU is back on the practice field Monday. Their 9th practice of fall camp. And we had media availability, and this was our 7th time seeing the Tigers in varying degrees. Every practice we've seen so far has been outside, and most of the work we've seen has been about an hour. It's stretched to an hour 15, hour 30, kind of depending on the day. And we see individual drills, which is nothing more than walkthroughs and hitting pads and things like that and dummies. We see 7-on-7. We've seen 11-on-11. We've seen periods where it's been sort of a mixed individual. Receivers against defensive backs, offensive line against defensive line. We've chronicled a bunch of this. And so far, through 7 practices, 7 periods of media availability, I think I have one big takeaway for this defense so far. And my one big takeaway is that the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. We all know what that means. Like if you disassemble a car and sold it part by part, it wouldn't equal as much as an assembled vehicle on the lot that you're trying to sell. And in this instance, what we consistently see over and over again is when they go to individual periods, the offense is light years ahead of this defense at every level. On Saturday, we go in and they're running a goal line drill. So the offense is at the 10-yard line. And it's just quarterback, receiver, defensive backs. So they're either running 2 or 3 receiver sets. And I charted every rep. And of the 19 reps that I charted on Saturday, the offense won 13. The defense got stops on 3. And then there were errant throws on 3 where the receiver was open. At one point, the offense scored on 7 straight plays and 9 of 10. The only one they didn't score on was when Colin Hurley had Aaron Anderson over the middle. He threw it in the ground. Like, it's overwhelming. The offensive defensive line pass rush drill on Saturday. I charted 30 reps. 5 first, 5 second, 5 third, 5 first, 5 second, 5 third. Get it? It was 22, 3, and 5. The offense won 22, the defense won 3, and there were 5 pushes. Even if you give all of the pushes to the defense, it's still 22 to 8. You see my point? Like, in a vacuum, Will Campbell is better than Paris Shand every time. In a vacuum, Kyron Lacy is better than P.J. Woodland. Like, there's no comparison. Today, we go out there, and I charted, first thing we see is the DB receiver drills. I charted 25 reps. Of the 25, there were 2 pass breakups. Ashton Sams had a PBU against C.J. Daniels, and Jordan Gilbert got a win against Aaron Anderson. There were 2 overthrows and 1 drop. The drop was Jelani Watkins' dime from Ricky Collins. Dropped it. So you see all of that, and you can't help but be really discouraged because of what we saw from the defense a year ago. I'm not into hyperbole. You know that. I don't do the greatest of all time, worst of all time, this or that. That's not really my thing. Yes, I can be theatrical. Bama is burning, hunt the good ag, and that's good. It's fun. We should have fun. But when I'm giving you opinions, I try to be very measured. Last year was the worst defense in the history of the program. As long as they've been playing football since 1893, as long as they've been keeping statistics, no LSU defense has allowed more yards and points than last year. Period. It was horrendous. So with that in your brain, you see things like that, and you can't help but go, here we go again. But remember I told you the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. Because what we've seen is after that, when they go into team periods, not only does the defense hold their own, they win. They win. When they play actual 11-on-11 football, the defense wins. On Saturday, full pads on Saturday, full team period, 11-on-11, tackling to the ground. Blake Baker told us afterwards there's only 4 times in camp they're actually going to be full tackle to the ground. This was one of them. So remember, offense in all the team drills obliterates the defense. They go to the team period. First down. Mason Taylor catches the ball for a 9-yard out at 2nd and 1.
Mason Taylor!
Sack. West Weeks. 3rd and 6. On 3rd and 6, Nuss looks deep left sideline for C.J. Daniels. He's pressured. He throws a duck, and it's intercepted by Jair Brown. Okay? Coach's discretion to do whatever they want. Instead of starting a new drive, they just put him there at 3rd and 5 again, or 3rd and 6. Nuss throws a beautiful ball over the middle to C.J. Daniels. Catch and run for about 35 yards. First down. Deep right, intended for Kyron Lacy. Sage Ryan in coverage, incomplete. 2nd and 10. They hand the ball to Caleb Jackson, runs for 5 yards. It's 3rd and 5. Harold Perkins stretches the play out to the right, gets a TFL against Caleb Jackson. It's 4th and 10. They check down on 4th and 10 to Caleb Jackson, who dump trucked Whit Weeks. By the way, that play, if you haven't seen it yet, is on all the social media if you want to check it out, where Caleb just runs over Whit Weeks. So that was a 4th and 10 play when Caleb Jackson ran over Whit Weeks to convert. So it's 1st down. Major Burns, TFL. 2nd and 12, they force a throwaway. It was pressure by JVR Suggs and West Weeks. 3rd and 11, or 3rd and 12. They go on the sideline for C.J. Daniels. Overthrow by Nuss. It was Jair Brown in coverage. It's 4th and 11. They kick a field goal and make it. My point is, the defense, when they play whole, has been actually good against the offense. I'll give you the sequence today. Monday, 11 on 11. Remember, all throughout the day, not good for the offense. They're getting run all over the yard. They start the 11 on 11 period at the 30-yard line, the negative 30. So offense at their own 30, 70 yards ahead of them. Jordan Gilbert, tight coverage on Mason Taylor on the left sideline, incomplete.
Mason Taylor!
It's okay for now, thank you. 2nd and 10, they run across with Chris Hilton for 7 yards. It's 3rd and 3. Nuss, it's good coverage. Nuss has to move, dance a little bit in the pocket. He throws a 50-50 ball over the middle high to Kyron Lacey. Jordan Allen's there, creates contact, pass breakup, incomplete. It's 4th and 3. They go for it. Paris Shan bats the ball at the line of scrimmage and intercepts it. Y'all, it's night and day. It's like you're not even watching the same thing. The twos go in there. A.J. Swan got the first crack with the twos. First play, incomplete, intended for Shelton Sampson. Zy Alexander was in coverage. 2nd and 10. Pass over the middle to Aaron Anderson for 5 yards. It's 3rd and 5. He looks for Kamorian Pimpton on a left slant. On the left sideline. It's complete on the left sideline, but Kamorian Pimpton went out of bounds a yard short, so it's 4th and 1. 4th and 1, they decide to go deep to Shelton Sampson. Sampson had Zy Alexander beaten by about 2 yards. Swan underthrew it. Sampson had to come back. It allowed Zy Alexander to recover and got the pass breakup. Probably could have been PI. Refs were out there. They didn't throw the flag. The ones go back in, and they're escorting us off the field at this point. The ones go back in there. The first play, Harold Perkins beats Garrett Dellinger for a sack. Y'all, I'm not telling you this is the 85 Bears. I'm not telling you they're great. What I am telling you is there are two fundamentally different truths when you watch this defense, and I've seen enough of them. We've been out there for 7 practices, at least an hour per. I mean, I've seen at least 7 hours of practices, okay? Charting, reps, and everything. The whole, when they're out there as a unit with a pass rush and with Harold Perkins as a queen piece on the chessboard, and when the corners have help from safeties and they're playing coverage, they're better than when they're running drills. Because Bernard Causey isn't as good today as Chris Hilton. Or fill in the blanks of whoever. LSU's offensive talent is better than their defensive talent. But when they go into a team period, the defense wins. Yo, I went back and looked at my notes. If you're watching, I have 2 little notebooks here. And I have my own system of how I chart everything. I went back and looked at my notes from all 7 practices today. And I have charted 5 11-on-11 periods. It's not to say, listen, they practice a lot indoors that we don't get to see. They kick us out and do more team periods that we don't get to see. There's a lot they've done that I haven't seen. I'm telling you from what I have seen, my eyes, not secondhand, my eyes. I have charted in 7 practices 5 11-on-11 periods. 5. Now, only one of those was tackle to the ground. And sometimes it's situational. Maybe they're working on 3rd and 5, 3rd and 2, whatever. But in the 5 11-on-11 periods that I have seen, I have not charted a first-team offense touchdown against the defense yet. I haven't 7-on-7. Oh, there's been lots of them in 7-on-7. Maybe it's situational. Maybe there's been situations where Pass complete. Yeah, because they're not tackling. Guy breaks free. Maybe he scores, and who knows how that might have played out. But my point is, I have not yet charted a drive where LSU has gone the length of the field and the offense has scored a touchdown against the defense. They were running a 2-minute drill a couple days. Last week, I told you about one. Nuss leads them right down the field. They get in a goal-to-go situation. He pauses, pats the ball, throws over the middle. Boom. Intercepted by Ashton Stamps over the middle when he was looking for C.J. Daniels. They've gotten close, but the defense made the plays. Please don't misunderstand me. It's 9 practices into fall camp, of which we have seen parts of 7. But what I am telling you, and I'm not telling you this is the 85 Bears or the 2011 LSU Tigers defense. I'm not telling you they're going to be awesome. I'm not telling you there's All-Americans. I don't think there's All-Americans or All-Conference players anywhere on that defense other than Harold Perkins. But what I'm telling you is very clearly with Blake Baker and Corey Raymond and Jake Olson, what they have done is they have simplified for this defense, which has allowed them to play fast and aggressive and physical. And when you don't have coverage busts, you create tighter windows to throw in. When you actually have a guy like Harold Perkins who has some get off and you can pressure the quarterback and come up with some creative blitzes and move the quarterback off his spot, you increase the level of difficulty. Instead of Nuss unpressured throwing to Kyron Lacey against J.K. Johnson when they know the route and J.K. doesn't, and it's just an athleticism drill, Kyron's going to win that 10 times out of 10. But when you have safety help and pressure and a line in your face and hands in your face and all of a sudden the degree of difficulty is increased, the defense is winning plenty. And it's encouraging to see. Less than 3 weeks from the opener, LSU and USC. We'll continue to go out there every time they let us. I'll continue to tell you what I see. But there is a polar opposite difference with this defense in team period from individuals, and it is very clear that the whole of this defense right now is much greater than the sum of the parts. All right, our show Open Every Day is brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy in Louisiana with the great taste of Bud Light. Actually, had a great time this weekend, man. Got to celebrate the life of a parent of a coworker who passed, and went out and had a great time. And there was plenty of beer flowing, and I was sure to pack a 6-pack of Bud Light, and certainly enjoyed that day. I was out in the pool yesterday, had Bud Light, had a few buds by the pool. No matter what you're doing, if you're celebrating, if you're watching your favorite sporting event, just hanging out by the pool at the beach, or getting ready to watch some football as football's upon us, make sure you got plenty of ice-cold Bud Light, the official beer of the LSU Tigers, the official beer of the New Orleans Saints, and the official beer of AFR. Bud Light. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light. Okay, let me not get a break, y'all. We'll come back. Saints and Cardinals opened up the preseason on Saturday. Saints get a win 16-14. I got my takeaways. We'll get to them next.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's.com. Rouse's.com. Make sure you get to the website, hit that weekly ad tab, or you can always go to their social media or the app, and you can see at Rouse's all the great specials that they have. Look, I get it. Inflation's killing everybody right now. So when you can save, why wouldn't you? Rouse's lets you do that with great prices every day. You can check them out and all their dealer specials as well. All their deal specials over at Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. And something Rouse's does always as well as a really great community partner is they do a clean out your freezer day for the homeless. So it's called Hunters for the Hungry. So it's the Bayou Region event is coming up on Sunday, this Sunday, August 18th from 1 to 4 at Rouse's. It's all benefiting the Second Harvest Food Bank in South Louisiana. To get more info, you can get at their website, rouses.com, or at their social media. Rouse's, this feels like home.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows, Windows, Doors, Siding. Oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
8 seconds left. Smith trying to give New Orleans the lead. 37-yard attempt. It's perfect.
It's a win. You know, there's a lot of things we got to clean up offensively, but I thought two-minute drives, being able to go down and execute, really ended up kind of being the difference in the game. Also thought our offense, when we gave up a touchdown to start the second half, I thought our offense responded, going right back down the field and answering. So, I thought those were positives. I thought early on in the game, I thought we did some good things on defense. I thought early we were able to kind of get some pressure on the quarterback a little bit. And look, we minimized, the points allowed in the game. And yet I thought, later in the game, I feel like there were some things that we could have done better and executed a little bit better.
Saints beat the Cardinals 16-14 to win the preseason opener. Dennis Allen afterwards. Saints did practice on Sunday. Today, Monday, is an off day for the Hootats. They'll be back at it on Tuesday. They play the 49ers this week. We did learn that the Niners, because of injuries, have canceled the scheduled joint practices with the Saints this week. But we'll get to that game. We'll do a little bit of a retrospective first here on that first preseason game. Look, a win is a win, and there were some good things to take away. You're less concerned about the result as you are about the process and what you saw from the game and what we were looking for. Going into Saturday night, I think my biggest question, all of your biggest question, the thing that we've all talked about all offseason has been this offensive line. You're replacing 3 starters. Trevor Penning's moving to right tackle. You have a rookie in Taliese Fuanga playing at left tackle. Obviously, Nick Saldiveri was there at guard. He's injured. You're seeing Lucas Patrick there now. A new quarterback, a new system. All of that, right? All of that surrounds the engine that is your offensive line that kind of makes the thing go. And wasn't great. New Orleans averages 3.5 yards a carry. It was tough sledding much of the day offensively. And then when you look at Arizona defensively, what they were able to do, they came away with a sack, a couple of TFLs, and 5 quarterback hits to go along with 6 passes defensed. It was a rough go offensively and rough for that line. On top of that, when you look at the team stats, you had a handful of your offensive linemen that were penalized in the game as well. Trevor Penning was called. Oli Udoh was called for a penalty. It was about what you might expect from a first preseason game with a lot of new players playing together for the first time. And all the Saints had 9 penalties. And I was asked over the weekend, hey, are you concerned about all the penalties? And flatly, the answer is no. I'm not concerned about the penalties one iota, because this is always the gauge that I use. So in 2014, this is a pull, but in 2014, the Saints played the Tennessee Titans in a preseason game where the Saints were penalized 22 times. Do y'all remember this? The Saints were penalized 22 times in a preseason game against the Titans back in 2014. That New Orleans Saints team had the second fewest penalties in the NFL that season. I think they were penalized like 78 times the entire season. So, no, I'm not worried about the penalties in preseason game number 1 from a lot of guys that aren't even going to make the team. A completely different level of intensity, games called differently from the officials. So, no, I'm not worried about the penalties. In total, I would like to see guys that you know you're going to count on play better, like Trevor Penning, which it was a rough go. He whiffed on a screen block. He got bull rushed right into the quarterback. He did have a penalty. Not a great outing for Trevor Penning. Now, the opposite I would say for Spencer Rattler. We were looking at the backup quarterbacks. That was maybe the second biggest thing, as we know Derek Carr is the guy, but as I think both as your number 2 this year and long-term, how does that battle play out? Jake Haener did have the deep completion to A.T. Perry. Perry had a great game as well, which we'll get to. But Rattler was the story because Rattler led you on scoring drives. The opening drive of the second half, Spencer Rattler led you right down the field and got you on the board for a touchdown. And then with a minute and a half to play in the ball game, after the Cardinals scored to take the lead, Spencer Rattler got the ball and led you right down the field, chewed up all the clock, and then with 5 seconds left, Charlie Smith hits the game-winning field goal. So I like that from Spencer Rattler. I'm not going to tell you that I'm drawing wide-ranging conclusions on the quarterback position based on a preseason game. I'm not drawing wide-ranging conclusions on anything. Mostly anything that I would take from a preseason game, though, would confirm or affirm a negative, not a positive. Meaning, I'm not telling you Rattler is going to be an all-pro because he won a preseason game. But if you go play in a preseason game against a bunch of dudes that aren't even going to be employed in a month and you struggle, that's a concern. That's what I mean by you can validate a negative but not an affirmative or a positive here in this situation in a preseason. Dennis Allen, after the game, was asked about Spencer Rattler's debut where led the game-winning drive.
I thought he executed with poise. I thought he made some plays. I thought he was able to create a little bit with his feet when things didn't go exactly how you wanted it to. So I thought he did a good job. I thought Haener did well. I thought he came in and executed his job. So, I was pleased with what we were able to get accomplished there with those two players. Now we're going to go back and we're going to look at the tape and we're going to make the corrections that we need to make. There's some things that we have to be better at. But I thought overall, for a first preseason game, and this being Spencer's first shot out, I thought I was pleased with what I saw.
The 2 more observations. Of course, we were looking at Taliesin Fuanga, Kool-Aid McKinstry, the high draft picks for the Saints this year. Fuanga played a good bit in the first half. Kool-Aid started but didn't play a ton. I thought Taliesin Fuanga was fine. I didn't notice anything glaring. I don't know. Even the batted ball on the defender that he was blocking, the defender sort of dropped off in coverage and elevated and blocked the pass. I think that's more on Derek Carr than it is on Taliesin Fuanga. I could sit here and talk about Carr, but there's nothing to say. We all saw it. We know what he is. He is what he is. But Kool-Aid McKinstry, sometimes you could just look at a guy and say, okay, he's just at a different level. That was Kool-Aid McKinstry. We all saw it. Like, in a preseason game, whether you're going against starters or whatever, sometimes there's a guy on the field that just looks different, and that was Kool-Aid. And I'm always interested what coaches think after they watch the tape. Like, immediate post-game is one thing, but what happens after you get back, you watch the tape, you dive in, then what were your observations? Well, Dennis Allen met with reporters on Sunday after practice and talked about Kool-Aid.
I thought there were some plays, in particular in the first half. I thought there was an increased sense of urgency, tenacity, style of play. A couple of mistakes there to open up the third quarter. A couple of things he could have done better there. But I would say I saw signs of the type of player that I think we can have, and in particular early on in that game.
I think that's a very measured way of Dennis Allen trying not to get too excited, but understanding that that's a draft pick that they hit on. They very clearly hit with Kool-Aid McKinstry. Now, he's got to stay healthy and learn the defense and continue to grow and develop all this stuff, but very clearly that you saw the flashes there of what made him a high second-round pick and a guy that I think is going to hopefully play a long time for the New Orleans Saints and be the next great corner in this organization. And then I'd be remiss if we didn't mention A.T. Perry. 4 targets, 4 catches, 85 yards. He did also have the deep catch. He drew a PI. Yes, A.T. Perry looked fantastic. As we continue to look at this team with Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, we talked about it a ton, who is going to step up and be the next guy as part of this rotation. A.T. Perry took a big leap on Saturday in that game against Arizona to prove he wants to be that guy. Here was DA on A.T. Perry after the game.
There were some good things. I mean, obviously, the one explosive pass there, at the end of the first half that, set us up in scoring position. I mean, that was a huge play in the game. I'd probably have to go back and look at the whole thing. How did he block? How did he get aligned? How well was he getting open when the ball didn't go to him? Like, those are all the things that, I mean, it's easy to look and see when he hits somebody on a double move in the 2-minute, that's a big play. And that's obviously, important. So I think I gotta look at it, but that certainly was a big play.
Saints win preseason game number 1. Practice this week out in Irvine. They'll take on the Niners on Sunday night. They'll play a night game on Fox, a national game on Sunday, 7 o'clock p.m. Central Time, week 2 here of the preseason. And then they'll wrap up the preseason on the 25th at home against Tennessee. All right. It's After Further Review. We're brought to you by South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com. If you're thinking of buying a new vehicle, maybe it's that time for whatever reason. The old vehicle's breaking down a little bit. You keep putting money into repairs. It's time to get something new. Or maybe you're looking for a certified pre-owned vehicle. South Point Volkswagen has a great selection. They're Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer. Of course, because they move more inventory, they can give you a better deal than anybody. Like right now, the summer sales event still going on over at South Point Volkswagen. And of course, because they sell more new vehicles, they have a larger pre-owned inventory than anyone else. So check them out at South Point Volkswagen. Airline just north of Highland or southpointvw.com. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction? All right, y'all, it's After Further Review. Glad you're hanging out with us here on this Monday. Bill Bender in 1 hour from right now. The AP Top 25 was released. Ross Jackson will be with us from Irvine in hour number 3 in his normal slot. Want to get his takeaways from the preseason game, but also practice on Sunday as the Saints were off today. So we'll get that report from Ross Jackson coming up in hour 3. Glad you're hanging out with us here. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Duplessis Builders. Man, it was so hot yesterday. Got home, got Drew, put him in the pool, had a great evening just swimming. It's an amazing way to spend your summer and even those early fall and spring and when it's so hot, 8 months out of the year, when it's so hot, to be able to take a plunge in your pool. Duplessis Builders makes that a reality for people in our community every single day. If you've thought about building a pool in your outdoor space, maybe you bought a home with a pool that needs to be remodeled, updated, renovated, you need to trust Duplessis Builders. Derek Duplessis and his staff, not only do they do beautiful work, but it's quality work as well. With a mechanical engineering background, with a minor in aerospace engineering, by the way. They never cut corners. They do everything exactly as it should be to maintain longevity, which is why they offer a 10-year workmanship warranty. It's Duplessis Builders. Check them out, duplessisbuilders.net.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $20,000 off new 23 Ram 1500 trucks. We're open for business in our beautiful new showroom and taking $20,000 off the powerful Ram truck. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows, windows, doors, siding. Oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
104.5 ESPN and Citizens Bank and Trust are looking for the ultimate tailgate. Snap a pic of your setup and upload it to 1045ESPN.com for a chance to win a $500 Rouse's gift card. Our judges will select a winner on August 29th. It's the ultimate tailgate giveaway from Rouse's Markets, Citizens Bank and Trust, and 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Bednarik Award watch list out today. Harold Perkins on it. I don't think that should come as any great surprise. Goes to the best defensive player in college football. Glenn Dorsey won this award back in the day. Tyrann Mathieu was a Bednarik Award winner as well. So, yeah. Did Pat Pete win the Bednarik?
I don't remember. Let's find out.
Let's see. I don't remember Pat Pete winning that. He did, 2010. Huh? So I told you to give the best Google. Let's see. So Pat Pete won it in 10. Tyrann won it in 11. I was wrong. Dorsey didn't win the Bednarik. Dan Connor, Penn State, won it that year. So the two winners from LSU are Pat Pete and Tyrann back-to-back in 10 and 11. So had a couple of winners there in the past. See if Harold Perkins can join the list this year. He'll have a great shot. Especially given what we've seen from him in fall camp, the name recognition he already has, his sort of jack-of-all-trades ability on defense. And I know there's been this question. I've had it as well. We've talked about it a bunch when we talked throughout the spring about Harold Perkins moving back inside, and it was sort of this deja vu feeling because we saw LSU do this a year ago, and it didn't go well with Perkins playing inside, so much so that after one game, they moved him back to that nickel Sam role. And he had a very productive year. I point this out often, but Harold Perkins had 72 tackles as a freshman, 75 as a sophomore. Harold Perkins had 13 TFLs as a freshman, 13 as a sophomore. He had 7.5 sacks as a freshman, 5.5 as a sophomore. Of course, when you get 4 in one game, it kind of skews things a bit. Had an interception in each season, doubled his number of pass breakups as a sophomore. He was a very productive player. And by the way, he played in every game as a freshman, too. He was a very productive player. He was just a productive player on a bad defense. So even when he made plays, it didn't always matter. He blocked a field goal. He did intercept a pass against Missouri, which was huge and sort of turned that game. But I think Harold Perkins can have a great shot because what we've seen from him so far is, I told you, in the scrimmage today, the scrimmage session, we're walking off the field. The last play we saw was a sack from Harold Perkins. On Saturday in the scrimmage we saw, he had a beautiful TFL on Caleb Jackson where he darted in on the right side of the offensive line, left side of the defense, right side of the offensive line, and brought down Caleb Jackson for a TFL. We've seen Harold Perkins have an interception so far in 7-on-7s. I mean, he's all over the field. They're using him in a lot of places. If he could be effective doing a lot of different things, he's going to have a great shot to win some of these national awards, especially when you couple that with the name recognition that he already has. By the way, Perkins met with reporters on Monday after practice, and he was asked about sort of his growing comfort level playing a new position. Here's what he said.
I'm playing well backer. On third downs, you kind of get a little nasty. I could be all over. But yeah, I'm getting used to it. I'm already used to it. I'm loving what I'm doing. And I trust Coach Baker that he's going to put me in the right position to make plays.
So you heard him say there on third down, as he said, get a little nasty move all over. For example, one of the things we saw today when they went scout team, right? So we got to see the first team defense line up against the scout offense, or just giving them a look. And by the way, this was the defense that was on the field during the team period today when Parashan batted the ball and got an interception. Anyway, what they did today was they ran in this nickel look. They stood up Perkins as a stand-up end on the left side. They had Braden Swinson sort of as the left defensive end. They moved, hang on. I want to make sure I got numbers right. There's been so many number changes. They moved Savion Jones to the middle. Your ends were Braden Swinson, Parashan ends. Then you had Harold Perkins standing up on the left side. You had Major Burns as in that star role. You had one true backer, which was Whit Weeks. You had Jair Brown as the nickel. And one change today as well, by the way, was in that look, your starting corners were Sage Ryan and J.K. Johnson. Stamps came off the field. J.K. ran with the ones. And then Jordan Allen and Jordan Gilbert were your safety. So a different look there as well, and a productive look. And I think that goes to show you, like Harold Perkins was saying, just how many different ways they're going to use him in this defense. Garrett Nussmeier was met with the media after practice today as well, and he was asked about Harold Perkins. Here's what he said.
He's a playmaker, and he's got that swag and that confidence, and he knows he's going to make a play, and then he's going to make the play. And so, I've been really proud of Perk and the way he's, stepped up as a leader, and he's really, tried to grow in different areas. And, you can see that on the field. You can see that he's making an effort to do that. At the end of the day, Perk's always going to be Perk, with his swagger and the way he acts. And it's definitely, it's been awesome to see.
And the other thing, just on the defense in particular, from Nuss. And sometimes it's interesting whenever you go into a press conference or an interview type situation. And, a lot of times guys have their canned answers. I'm not saying that was the case with Garrett here, but usually when you hit a topic that interests your subject, your interviewee, they tend to get, I'd say, a little more wordy, like they have more to say. Instead of their regular canned answer, they say a little more. Well, when Garrett Nussmeier was asked about the defensive improvement this year, that was the longest answer he gave in this press conference. Give a listen.
They've done an unbelievable job. The biggest thing, I think, is the leadership that has grown from that side of the ball. They've really stepped up. They've challenged me and they've challenged our offense a lot this camp, and that's good. That's what we wanted. There are mistakes that have been made and learning opportunities because of how good they've played. And so that's really all you can ask for as a quarterback, is to be challenged. And so, obviously, when you have a defense as talented, I feel like, as we do, and I think, people will have to learn to put some respect on our defense. And I think they're going to show that with the swag and the physicality that they're playing with. I think it starts with Coach Baker. He's came in and his scheme, the complexity of it, and the swagger that he has himself that bleeds into his players. And so I think they're going to be a really good unit this year. I think y'all will see that soon.
He had a lot to say about the defense. We'll all get to see it 3 weeks from yesterday. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Optimize, GeneratorPeople.com, GeneratorPeople.com. When the bad weather rolls in, y'all, it's been hot, that Gulf is heating up. It's only a matter of time before we get a storm and power is knocked out. You don't wish that on anybody, but we've already dodged two. One went to Houston, one went to Florida. I'm not saying we're next, but it's only a matter of time before a storm does come. When a storm comes, it knocks power out, you know what happens. There's long lines for gas, long lines for ice. Everyone's uncomfortable. You want to avoid all of that? Call Optimize. have them install a Generac automatic home standby generator. When the power goes out, boom, your optimized generator pops on and powers your whole house as if nothing ever happened. It's optimized. Go to generatorpeople.com, generatorpeople.com. If you think, man, I can't afford that, $600 for a down payment. They got financing options to meet any budget. generatorpeople.com. Louisiana's #1 Generac dealer is optimized. Visit generatorpeople.com. Real quick here, the AP Top 25 was released on Monday. LSU preseason number 13, probably about where we all anticipated we'd see LSU in the preseason top 25. Georgia 1, followed by Ohio State, Oregon, a couple of Big Ten teams, then Texas from the SEC, and Alabama, Ole Miss. So 4 of the top 6 from the SEC. Notre Dame 7, and then a couple of Big Ten teams. Penn State, Michigan 8-9, Florida State 10, Missouri, there's another SEC school there. Of course, 11 wins a year ago. Utah 12, they're the prohibitive favorite to win the Big 12 this year. And if they do, of course, they'll make the college football playoff. LSU, Clemson, Tennessee at 15, followed by Oklahoma. So another SEC school there in Oklahoma. Oklahoma State at 17, followed by Kansas State, Miami, Texas A&M at 20. Arizona, Kansas, Southern Cal, LSU's season opening opponent. NC State and Iowa round out the top 25. So Georgia, Texas, Bama, Ole Miss, Missouri, LSU, Tennessee, Oklahoma, Texas A&M, 9 SEC schools in your preseason top 25 with the Tigers at 13. Okay, it's after further review. Monday shows are brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll come back. Muse will have our final Olympic update. See just how badly the Americans whipped all the foreigners behind in international competition. It's next to wrap up hour number 1.
AFR.
Well, Saturday morning, my phone rang about 5 minutes to 6 a.m. It was River City's 1 hour air. Truck was loaded up. The crew was ready to come on out, and they did. Those guys worked their tails off at our house till almost 2 o'clock, actually past 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Had to replace the AC in our bedroom. It was the original unit on the house, at 25 some odd years old. Finally went kaput. Called River City's 1 hour air. They got us up and running, and they did amazing work. I tell you all the time, man, you could probably find someone to do the work cheaper. You could find a cheaper install. You could find a cheaper unit. But I want you to be mindful of what you're going to pay for. The quality of the install matters. The quality of the unit matters. All of that matters for the life of your unit. And the unit I bought is a 10-year warranty. So I'm not going to pay for anything on that thing for the next decade. It's River City's 1 hour air. They're simply the best. Look for the big yellow vans and trucks with a giant clock on the side, 752-0001, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. Elevate brand visibility, ignite customer engagement with the power of radio and digital advertising combined. Guarantee Digital Media brings the two together as a trusted media partner in Louisiana for nearly a century. Claim your free digital audit at guaranteemedia.com.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want it. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Farming is a way of life for us. It's not something we get up in the morning and dread going do. It's just something we go to bed at night looking forward to getting up to go do. John Deere equipment is what we as farmers strive to have. So it's in your blood, it's in your veins. It's just a part of who you are. Green is what we want to be in. The other tractors were acquired to patch it up to get to where you want to be. Where we want to be is in John Deere. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
LSU has landed another commitment here for the class of 2025. This is just breaking here in the last 10 minutes or so. Shea Dixon, I saw it for breaking here in the last 10 minutes or so. Shea Dixon over at On3 had it. Dylan Battle, he's out of Arlington, 6'3", 300-pound defensive tackle. Bo Davis had been recruiting him at Texas, now committed to LSU. Among his finalists, he had SMU, TCU, Arkansas, of course. Remember, SMU now in the ACC, TCU in the Big 12, Arkansas, of course, in the SEC. I got some thoughts on this, but I want to stay on time. We got our Olympic update. So after the top of the hour, I'll circle back to this and give you my opinion on what I think a commitment like this means for LSU in 25 and beyond. Right now, though, the Olympics closing ceremonies were on Sunday. It was only a year and a half in Paris for the games. It stretched forever.
16 days, but yeah.
Felt like a year and a half. Finally, the games have come to a close. Of the what Olympiad was this?
33rd.
You should know that.
33rd.
Okay. Are you sure you guessed?
Positive.
Okay. The 33rd Olympiad. And Muse is going to tell us how much the U.S. whipped a bunch of foreigners behind.
Go, go, USA!
It was a really good weekend, Matt. Of course,
Let's go.
all eyes were on that gold medal battle between the United States and China.
All of the
5
eyes.
gold medals for the U.S. on Saturday. 5 of them. It was a great day in Paris on Saturday. The U.S. women's national team got it started, winning the gold medal. Mallory Swanson with a goal in the 57th minute.
Yeah!
Go, go, USA!
Masai.
Somewhere Ian Dark was just
He
yelling.
was so
at his
fired
house.
up.
He wasn't calling that game, was
No,
he?
he was
I didn't
not.
watch a minute.
He
of
was
it.
not. He was not. It was a good game.
Oh, good. Sure. Match. It was a match. Please.
Good match on the pitch.
Please.
Yes, indeed.
Please. Well, they're in their kits.
Yes.
Come on.
Two-tone kits as well, blue and red on the top for the ladies. Yes, like a bomb pop, exactly like a bomb pop.
Like what Beck was wearing.
Like what Jacob Beck was wearing today. Except
looked like a bomb pop.
he had more white though.
Oh.
They didn't have any white. It was strictly like
just red and blue.
Just red and blue.
What do they have against the white?
I don't know.
Yeah.
You have to ask them.
I don't like that at all.
Well, Masai Russell on the
wait,
track.
No, pull that back up, Paulie. Wait, I just saw. Pull that up. There's white in there.
Oh,
Can
is
you
there?
Pull that,
I don't
Paulie?
know.
Paulie had it a second ago.
Maybe a little. Oh yeah, okay. Little stripe there.
there's some white.
Little stripe there.
Yeah.
Little stripe there.
Yeah.
Masai Russell on the track, gold in the 100-meter hurdles for the ladies. Photo finish, 100th of a second. She gets that done.
Wow.
Go, go, USA!
Then the men's and women's 4x4 teams relay took to the track. Vernon Norwood for the United States, former LSU Tiger.
Nice.
Huge leg in the second spot. Got them back into that race. Rye Benjamin would hold on down the stretch.
He's got a leg?
Dub. He's got a leg.
Okay.
And then the women just absolutely dusted the field. I mean, they gave Sydney McLaughlin, the Lavroni, the baton in spot 2. She pulled away. Then they gave it to Gabby Thomas, and it was just over.
It's gone. That was the one
over.
where she finished like 5 seconds before everybody else.
They won the race by 5 seconds.
Yeah.
So
that's crazy.
It was topped off, of course, by Steph Curry. I mean, did you see Steph Curry at the end of that game?
No.
Oh, 4 3-pointers in the last 3 minutes to clinch it for the United States.
Yeah,
he was awesome.
Was that Saturday or Sunday?
That was Saturday. He was awesome.
I watched the first half of that game, and then we had a big lead, and I had an event to go to.
Yep.
And I was like, okay, we're good. We're going to whip these French foreigners.
It got tight there.
No.
It did. It was like a 6-point game with 3 minutes left.
That's not tight. The France ain't never whipped nobody's ass in anything.
That's fair. So you win in the Sunday, trailing China by 1 gold medal.
Yeah.
And then you got 2. Jennifer Valente, gold in cycling, track cycling.
Love it.
And the United States women's basketball team, their 8th straight gold medal. Really because the French girl stepped on the line shooting a 3 that she banked in at the buzzer that would have beaten you. But it was a 2 instead of a 3, so you won by 1.
So they would have tied it.
Yes, correct. Sorry about that. It would have tied it.
You don't math.
I don't math.
Do you?
I'm horrible at math.
Yeah.
It would have tied it. So ultimately, when you look at the final medal count,
I didn't watch a minute of that game. How did that get so close?
I have no idea.
You didn't watch it.
I was sleeping. I didn't watch it either.
Yeah, I was up. Well, I was up, but I just didn't watch it.
Your final medal count,
Okay.
the United States ties China 40 goals. I did. That's the first time ever in the history of the Olympics you've ended with a tie in the gold medal count. So it'll be decided in L.A. 126 total medals. It's the most in a non-boycotted Olympics for the U.S. since 1904.
So we tied China with the most golds, right?
Yep.
Man, if only we were better at something like, let's say, I don't know, pole vaulting.
Or, if your women's water polo team who won 3 straight gold medals didn't, win a bronze.
Or maybe
if
you had an American pole vaulter that would compete for your country and win a gold, that'd be great too. Then you'd have beaten China.
AFR.
Brought to you by Parish Restoration, parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Kill mold, remove odor. If you have mold, think you might. Parish Restoration. Again, this is the non-toxic dry fog that I've talked to you about for years. My buddy Jim Woodworth, Air Force veteran, all-around awesome dude, has been in disaster recovery for so many years, was helped with the recovery in 9/11, made his way down back to South Louisiana during the BP oil spill, and now Parish Restoration. It's an incredible technology that's so much safer, it's more cost-effective, it's more efficient. As a matter of fact, if you have mold in your home or think you might, or you want to get rid of odor from pets or smoke from a fire or cigarette smoke, whatever it may be, they can come in and spray in half a day, be done. They spray as soon as the fog dissipates, you're back in. Boom, free and clear. You're not cutting sheetrock, taking anything out of your home. It's easy, it's cost-effective, it's Parish Restoration. Go to parishbuilt.com. That's parishbuilt.com. parishbuilt.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales service and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Edge rusher Hassan Reddick, acquired by the Jets from the Eagles less than 5 months ago, officially requested a trade. He's been holding out for a new contract, has missed 21 days of training camp. ESPN NFL analyst Marcus Spears.
I think the defense will still be fine. I'm not sending out any smoke signals, but Hassan Reddick is a 15-plus sack a year guy. And when you start talking about Super Bowl aspirations, AFC championships, this trade was big, and this is huge that he may not be in camp with the Jets or even play this year.
The Jets have told Reddick they will not trade him. 2 days after receiver Marquise Brown separated his shoulder in the preseason opener, Coach Andy Reid told reporters he does not need surgery. Brown's status for the Chiefs' September 5th regular season opener uncertain. KC added him in free agency this offseason, expecting Brown to improve their wide receiver play. Major League Baseball suspended Red Sox outfielder Jarren Duran for directing an anti-gay slur at a fan during yesterday's loss. It's 2 games. Duran apologized via a statement last night. The Dodgers' Mookie Betts returns from a broken hand tonight in Milwaukee.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy. Coming up Tuesday, I'll tell you if a healthy Anthony Richardson will do enough to make the Colts a playoff contender. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
Let's ride!
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, man!
Hey, shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
You, sir. And Mr. Every time I play. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. Ross Jackson in 1 hour. Talk some Saints. He's out in Irvine. Bill Bender, Sporting News, 30 minutes from right now. AP Top 25 is out. We'll get Bill's reaction to all that. Thank you. Just before the top of the hour, we got news that LSU got a commitment from Dylan Battle. Shea Dixon had the news, among others. Dylan Battle, if you're not familiar, a 3-star defensive tackle out of Arlington. He is the number 53 defensive tackle in the country in the composite. He is number 569 national in any position, the 82nd best player in Texas. 6'3", 300 pounds, head off for some SMU, TCU, Arkansas. Those were his other finalists there as well. Bo Davis had been recruiting him from his time at Texas. Blake Baker was the secondary recruiter here as well. So here's a player like Dylan Battle, who had a relationship with Bo Davis, now is going to end up in LSU's class. I don't expect anybody today to do backflips when you get a commitment from a guy that feels like a marginal LSU prospect, right? I tell you all the time, I'm less concerned with the star ranking or the rating than I am the offer list. You know, we talked about Philip Wright, the receiver out of Destrehan. He's a 3-star. But you look at that offer list, and it's LSU and Georgia and Alabama and Miami and Texas A&M and Oregon and Michigan and everybody, right? He is an ascending player, clearly. I don't know really much at all about Dylan Battle as a player. I mean, I can look at the measurables. I can look at the huddle highlights. I can look at the offer list and all the same things that you can. But what this says to me is that this is this take for LSU is really indicative of how we're seeing the landscape of roster building change. Follow me. So remember, next year, college football is going to 105 scholarships. Right now, teams can have 85 scholarship players. Next year, you're going to 110, meaning you're adding 20 more scholarship players to your roster. Now, some of those guys might be current walk-ons on your team who you give a scholarship to. That's certainly a possibility. But consider this. Right now, LSU has, as I look at the roster, they got 10 seniors that are going to be out of eligibility or leave. Like fifth-year guys like Kyron Lacey, Thomas Crawford, Miles Frazier, Jacobian Guillory. When you look at your graduate players as well, C.J. Daniels is a graduate who has another year of eligibility if you wanted to use it. He's a fifth-year guy, so actually he is going to be done. I guess no, he would have the COVID year to use if he wanted to, but it's unlikely. But Daniels, John Emery, Josh Williams, Blake Oxendorf, the punter you just got from Louisiana Tech, Gio Paez, a bunch of guys that are very likely going to be done after this year. Either they're out of eligibility or they're likely to be done. So I count 10. You're going to lose guys in the portal. Last year, LSU lost 14 in the portal. We don't know what the number will be, but let's just keep it the same. Let's say you lose 14 guys in the portal again. So 10 to eligibility, 14 to the portal. That's 24. And let's say you lose 4 early to the draft. Like we know you're losing Perkins, Campbell, Emory Jones, and likely Mason Taylor. So that's 4. Any more? Like, would there be any others that y'all could think that would leave early? I mean, Xavion Thomas is a junior who could have a big year and leave. There's always the possibility of guys you could see go pro. But let's just use that as a loose number, and we're at 28. So LSU will be down 28 players. And you add 20 scholarship spots. So just do the math. If LSU loses 28 scholarship players this year, and I think they're dancing around 85. They might be like one under 85. So let's say you go from 85 to 57 range. Keep it round and call it 60, okay? Let's say you're down at 60. Well, in the past, you'd add 25 guys to get you back to your 85-man limit. And now with the portal, you add a few more. But in this case, if you're at 60 after the year, right, and you lose guys to the draft and eligibility and so on, transfers, you get to 60, now you got to get to 105. You have to add 45 guys to your roster. Let that sink in. 45 players to your roster you have to add. And that's going to be a combination of high school guys and transfer portal guys. Now, again, and some of those might be guys that are currently on your roster as walk-ons who you give a scholarship spot to. That could certainly happen. For example, a guy like Giovanni Peterson. I don't know currently if they have him on scholarship or if he's a walk-on, but that's a guy that's on your kickoff team. We see it at practice. Kickoff team, punt team. He's playing some tight end in there, especially with losing Mac Markway. So, again, that's a guy who maybe could be on scholarship at the 105 limit that wasn't going to be at 85. All that to say, we have conditioned ourselves for so many years to look at a roster and say, you got to get to 85. Hard cap 85. Hard cap 25 in a class. Well, there's no longer the hard cap of 25, and now 85 goes to 105. Brian Kelly has said this over and over again. He wants to build through the high school ranks and develop and then supplement through the portal. He wants to use the portal as a tool but not build his roster through the portal. The hard part about building through the high school ranks now in the portal era is you bring guys in and they leave after a year if they don't play. Walker Howard leaves after a year. Lance Hurd leaves after a year. Jalen Brown leaves after a year. Now, the flip side is also true because you're going to gain guys out of the portal you otherwise wouldn't have gotten. But the really interesting prospects, like this is the thing that I think is most interesting in how coaches are going to, and GMs like Austin Thomas are going to build their rosters moving forward with 105. That number allows you to take players out of the high school ranks that might not have gotten an LSU offer prior. I've given you examples before. Foster Moreau, Russell Gage, Justin Jefferson, Lloyd Cushenberry. These are all guys that ended up at LSU that were like signing day decisions. Like, wait, we'll see on signing day if we have a spot for you. It worked out for those guys, and they stayed and became good players. The flip side is also true. Sometimes you have guys that are interested or are committed, and then you get to signing day and you tell them, I'm sorry, we don't have a spot for you. That's one of the reasons I like the early signing period. It allows less of that. But now you can take those guys. You can take Jace Thomas, who's a 3-star safety out of Destrehan, because it's a Louisiana kid that you really like as a prospect. And when you had a hard cap of 25 or an 85-man limit, it was harder to justify. But at 105, you take that guy 100 times out of 100 because he wants to play at LSU. He's a great player. He can sit for a year or two, grow, develop, be in your system, in your culture. And then by the time he's a third, fourth-year guy, boom, you got a starter. That's the idea anyway. And I think the same is true here with Dylan Battle. I don't know much about him, but I can look at the offer list. I can look at his national ranking, and I can say that's probably not a guy you're expecting to walk in day one and be a contributor for you. But that's a guy that if Bo Davis likes him at 6'3", 300 out of Arlington, they see the upside, the ability, they like the kid, you bring him in, you get him in your culture, in your weight program, you let him learn your defense, you let him learn from Bo Davis, and by the time he gets on in his career, you got a dude. That's what happened with Lloyd Cushenberry. Marginal prospect who came to LSU, waited his turn, became a 2-year starter, was a dominant center, became a 4th-round pick, and now was the highest-paid center in the NFL. Like, it happens for guys. Sometimes it just happens at 19, 20, 21 instead of 17, 18, 19 when you grow into your body and you develop. And I think that's what we're going to see. How many players will LSU take in this recruiting class? Not just LSU, every team. I mean, they're at 22 right now, and typically by the time you get to 22, you're being super selective because you're almost done. Well, now, I mean, you can take 40. I mean, you could because you're going to have that many roster spots available. So, because you're adding 20 scholarship spots, and it's going to benefit guys like, conceivably, a Dylan Battle, who, if you're looking to fortify in the high school ranks your defensive line, maybe you're taking 3 or 4 tackles and you want them all to be 4- and 5-star guys that you think are the higher tier prospects. Now you can take 10 of them if you want. You have the luxury to do it. So it's a giant fundamental change with how roster building is going to happen. I think you're going to see more of this. And I think for a coach like Brian Kelly, who emphasizes so much recruiting and developing talent, this allows you to recruit and hold on to the guys because they want to be at LSU and develop and then become real key contributors for you when they get on in their career. Dylan Battle becomes the 22nd commit for LSU's 2025 class, a defensive lineman out of Arlington. All right, it's after further review. We're glad to have you with us. Of course, our Monday shows are brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. We'll knock out a quick break, y'all. Come back. The Saints over the weekend did make a roster move to add a wide receiver. I'm wondering what took so long, and I'm wondering if it's going to be another receiver coming as well. We'll talk about it. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Darren James and Associates, brokered by LPT Realty. Every home listed by every company, all in one place. You know where to find them. Agent225.com. Agent225.com. I was talking to Darren last Thursday. They have now released an updated Agent225.com. Go check out the website. The #1 website in real estate in our state. Every home listed by every company, all in one place. Thousands of listings, all in one place. Listings from every company right there. I can't imagine why you would use any other website other than agent225.com. Of course, if you need to sell your home, why would you call anyone other than the realtor that sells more homes literally than anyone? Darren James, #1 in Louisiana. on the Real Trends list, number 13 in America, the number of homes sold last year. It's Darren James and Associates, brokered by LPT Realty, agent225.com. That's agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
There's nothing chill about a hot, sweaty line. Unless...
After further review, presented by Relief Windows, windows, doors, siding. Oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
All right, Saints have the day off today. Ross Jackson will be with us in about 43 minutes from right now. Get his thoughts on preseason game number 1 and practice on Sunday. Saints have the day off on Monday, but the Saints were busy on the roster front after the preseason game against Arizona. They released wide receiver Marquez Callaway and have re-signed a familiar face in wide receiver Shaq Davis. Remember, Shaq Davis was an undrafted free agent for the New Orleans Saints, who they brought in a year ago. It was interesting because they paid, if you remember, he was the big-bodied receiver out of SC State, South Carolina State. And they brought him in and paid him $216,000 guaranteed. And it's a large amount of money for an undrafted free agent. And you typically, if you're going to invest that kind of money in a UDFA, they're going to make your team. Well, Shaq Davis didn't make the team, but they did sign him to the practice squad. So he spent all of last year on the Saints practice squad. And then after the season chose to sign with the Philadelphia Eagles. And after spending the offseason in Philly, now Shaq Davis is back with the New Orleans Saints. Maybe one of the disappointing things a year ago is after the Saints did sign him as a UDFA and give him the $216K, the thought was that he would actually contribute a year ago. And then when Michael Thomas got injured, the thought was that might happen even more, was that the door opened for Shaq Davis because after the first two guys, Olave and Shaheed, you needed another guy, and Shaq Davis kind of fits that mold as a big body wide receiver. So 6'5", 215, and now back with the New Orleans Saints. I'm excited about having Shaq Davis back. Look, I liked Marquez Callaway at Tennessee. I was excited when the Saints took him as a UDFA and spent 4 years in New Orleans and played in 85 games, I think, with the Saints, was it? It was, played in 45 games for the Saints over the last 4 seasons before signing with the Steelers. But Shaq Davis is a guy that I'm excited that the Saints have back. I also look at Shaq Davis and think, is that your answer? Like, is that your answer? We all watched this offense score 16 points on Saturday. I get it. Much of the game was with backups. But when your starters win there, that was maybe the most disappointing part, was the offensive ineptitude of your starters offensively. And when I keep looking at this offense and where the deficiencies are on this New Orleans Saints team, it is pretty clear it's not the defensive side of the ball. You're old defensively, but you added Chase Young, you added Willie Gay, you're kicking the tires on Justin Simmons, trying to bring him in at safety. Like, you're fine on the defensive side. I'm not telling you you're great, but you're fine on the defensive side. Where you are objectively not fine is offensively. And when I keep looking at this Saints team, and I think you probably agree, I think everyone would probably agree with me at this point. I don't know that there's actually a conflicting opinion. You're bad on the offensive line and at wide receiver depth. You're bad on the offensive line. You are weak with your receiver depth. And so I'm glad you brought Shaq Davis back, and I think that's a guy who maybe has a nice ceiling that can become a contributing NFL wide receiver. I don't doubt that. I don't know what his ceiling is. And maybe as a number 3 or a number 4. But I can't help but look at what's available, and you have proven wide receivers. Hunter Renfrow is still available. We talked about it last week. Juju Smith-Schuster is now available. I think the Saints should absolutely go make a run at Juju. I don't think that they're going to bring back Michael Thomas, who's still without a team. But you have guys that are proven NFL receivers that have ability and availability as well. And if the Saints really are trying to win now, and it's one thing that we talk about all the time when the Saints are in win now mode, and I've said that for a while because they have been in win now mode. But if you really are in win now mode, why aren't you trying to improve the 2 spots on your roster that are your worst spots, which is offensive line and receiver? I'd be excited, if they were able to add Justin Simmons. By the way, Justin Simmons, if you missed the news, took a visit to the Atlanta Falcons. Ian Rappaport had that news. Took a visit to the Falcons on Monday, which is pretty evident of what's going on there, right? He was a free agent in March. His asking price was way too high. He had no takers. He's lowered his asking price. Now the market heats up. It's actually exactly like the real estate market. You ever sold a home? If you overprice your home, you don't get any offers. You adjust the price accordingly to meet the market. The market heats up. So, in any event, I think that's probably what's happened with Justin Simmons. So, he's going to have options. And as much as it would stink not to land Justin Simmons, it would suck even more if he ends up in Atlanta. But all that to say, I don't think you need Justin Simmons. I think you're okay at safety. You'd be better with him than with the combination of Jonathan Abram and Jordan Howden. You need offensive line and receiver help. Maybe it's David Bakhtiari on the offensive line. Maybe it's Juju Smith-Schuster at receiver. Those are veteran players. Bakhtiari's old, I get it. But is that a better option than what you have right now with Trevor Penning? I think so. I get it. Bakhtiari's left. Can he play right? I don't know. But it feels like the Saints are looking for help in the wrong places. All that said, I am excited they got Shaq Davis back. I hope he's a guy that can make this team and maybe make an impact on this team, because I'm not counting on Cedric Wilson and Equinemius St. Brown to actually make an impact. All right, it's After Further Review, brought to you by Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com. More than 30 offices across a dozen different states, continuing to grow and expand while maintaining that home base right here in Louisiana. Their Harahan office is still their corporate headquarters. They love that local ownership, that face-to-face sales, getting to know their clients. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. And they always say at Michelli, we show the world what measurement can do. There's a pretty good example they shared on their social media today. So in 2005, when Las Vegas celebrated the 100-year anniversary of Las Vegas, they set a world record with a 130,000-pound cake. Well, somebody had to weigh that 130,000-pound cake. How about our nation's leader in scales? Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Michelli.com. You may not need to weigh a 130,000-pound cake, but whatever industry you're in, if you weigh or measure something, Michelli sells, service, rents the products you use to weigh and measure. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Michelli.com. Michelli.com. All right, y'all, it's After Further Review. Bill Bender is going to be here in 5 minutes. Bill Bender, of course, of the Sporting News. AP Top 25 was released today, so we'll talk to Bill about that, get his reaction, get some thoughts on LSU and the SEC as a whole. If you want to email us, you can, Matt at 1045ESPN.com. Tweet us at Matt Moscona or text in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Very quickly. Sorry, we were going through the practice report earlier today from LSU. I was kind of sharing with you my big picture takeaway up to this point, which is with LSU's defense, the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. If you missed it, go listen to it on demand, YouTube, podcast, search After Further Review. You'll see it. But in doing all that, I didn't get to share some of the notes I had from today's practice, so there's a handful of them. Number one, Gio Paez was absent on Saturday. No explanation was given, but he did return to practice today on Monday, so that was good news. We were waiting on Braden Swinson and Jalen Lee to return to practice. That happened on Saturday. Of course, both transfers, Swinson a year ago from Oregon, Lee a year ago from Florida, the kid from Live Oak. And Swinson ran with the twos. Jalen Lee, when Gio Paez was out, Jalen Lee took his spot and ran with the one. So maybe an idea of how they're factoring that defensive tackle rotation. Xavier Thomas, who Brian Kelly disclosed had a hamstring injury early in camp. He's back participating fully, going through all the receiver drills, the team drills, returning punts and kicks. So Xavier Thomas back and fully participating. When they go nickel, I did share this with you. When they go nickel, Jair Brown has been running as the first team nickel back. So when they go 5 defensive backs, Jair Brown is the 5th on the field. We did see some defensive alignment changes today where Savion Jones kicked inside. It was Swinson, Jones, Shan across the front, and Perkins was sort of a stand-up linebacker, stand-up end, stand-up outside linebacker, edge rusher on the left side. And when they went to that formation, Whit Weeks was the lone linebacker on the interior. And when they went nickel, we also saw J.K. Johnson replace Ashton Stamps with the 1. So first time we've seen J.K. Johnson run with the 1s. I don't think that's necessarily to say that J.K. Johnson has surpassed Ashton Stamps. I don't think that's the case at all. I just think it's to say when you're looking at a pecking order, who's behind Stamps, that might be the next guy in. If he needs a breather, if they're rotating, different formations or looks, it looks like J.K. Johnson would be the next guy in after Ashton Stamps. All right, y'all. It's After Further Review. We'll knock out a quick break. Monday show is brought to you by Relief Windows and Relief Windows, Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. When we come back, Bill Bender, Sporting News, will join us. Stay here. It's AFR.
AFR.
Love telling you about Action Industries. Action, INDINC.com. Action Industries Incorporated, proud partner of LSU Athletics. They've, of course, done great work with those plants up and down the river, the 30-some-odd plants, for more than 40 years, 42 years to be exact. And one thing I know definitively after having all these conversations, getting to know my friends at Action and talking to so many people in the industrial sector over the years, you do not get to work inside the fence if you don't have an exemplary safety record. And Action Industries beats the industry standard when it comes to their safety record. The other thing, too, is they rely on repeat business. And they wouldn't be around for 42 years if they weren't doing quality work and getting repeat business. It's Action Industries. They know who they are. Their sweet spot is that 100-person job, but they can supplement your mega projects if you need more of a labor force. They can help. It's Action Industries, proud partner of LSU Athletics.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Farming is a way of life for us. It's not something we get up in the morning and dread going do. It's just something we go to bed at night looking forward to getting up to go do. John Deere equipment is what we as farmers strive to have. So it's in your blood, it's in your veins. It's just a part of who you are. Green is what we want to be in. The other tractors were acquired to patch it up to get to where you want to be. Where we want to be is in John Deere. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
AP Top 25 released today. Good chance to catch up with our buddy Bill Bender from the Sporting News. He's on Twitter at BillBender92. Bill, how are you, man?
Hey, I'm doing well. How's it going?
We're inching closer to football. I think it's a great time for all of us right now. Big takeaway? Anybody catch your eye when you saw that Top 25 release today?
Not really. I mean, the top 10 across Sporting News, Top 25, all the publications, coaches poll, it's pretty dead on. You know, saw Ralph Russo just tweeted, I mean, Ole Miss, highest expectations since Archie Manning. So pretty big deal there. And, you know, that top 4, top 5 looked pretty solid to me. I didn't really have any issues with it. I don't know if you did.
Are you a believer in Ole Miss?
I'm a believer that this is their best opportunity because of the schedule. And on a year-to-year basis, that SEC schedule is going to change. Like this year, for example, not a good year to be Florida or Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Good year to be Ole Miss with the talent they got coming back, the advantage of that schedule. They should be one of the top 4 teams in the SEC, and I think the top 4 teams in the SEC will get in the college football playoff.
Do you think that's that's interesting, Bill? Because I guess my audience knows that I've harped on this a lot, and I'm just curious because none of us actually knows. We're all just going to see how it plays out, manifests as we learn what a 12-team playoff looks like. Do you think that the baseline for the SEC is 4 every year?
Should be. I know. See, when Matt Rule made that comment at Big Ten Media Day a couple weeks ago, I was sitting right there, and it just went over my head because I was thinking, yeah, they should get 3 or 4 every year. And I feel the same way about the SEC, but +1. Yeah, they should get 4 every year, maybe 5. Who knows, depending on how good the play is. And when you're in the SEC and you look at the top 25 and how many teams are in there, I think this, and you're talking to a Big Ten guy here, I think the SEC has the most teams that are equipped to make the college football playoff in their conference. And when you're playing each other, that only adds to the value. I don't think that's a myth. I think that's a fact.
My counterpoint would be, well, that's absolutely true, but you're all going to end up beating each other as well. And, Bill, this is my one contention. I think they'll get 3 minimum every year, and then in a stretch year, maybe 4. I just think when that committee is in the room and they got to decide with 7 at-large spots, are they really going to gift the SEC and the Big Ten 6 of the 7 at-large spots?
Well, I mean, that's a good point. Well, it depends. If you have a Big 12 championship game where the runner-up has 3 losses, that'll make it easy. I think one thing SEC and Big Ten fans are going to unite on is they're going to universally hate Notre Dame and root against Notre Dame so they don't get one of those at-larges like this year. If you're a fan of the SEC, you're rooting for Texas A&M to beat Notre Dame.
Yes.
Because that gives them a loss. No question. And, I think that's part of the math of it. I just, with that many teams equipped to do it, they're going to have the most attention. And I'm curious to see, the big question for me for the committee is, are we doing the thing where we're just going to count the losses and talk about strength of schedule and not honor it? Because a 9-3 Oklahoma team belongs in the college football playoff, given what they're up against this year, and Florida.
But you know as well as I do that a 9-3 Oklahoma or Florida are not getting in the playoff.
Right, and that's what that's what I'm interested to see. So I've had this argument up this way where, you look at Penn State's schedule. Penn State's ranked ahead of Michigan. You look at Michigan's schedule, and they don't play each other this year. And I've been saying, I think I told Hester on his show that I would take a 9-3 Michigan over a 10-2 Penn State, all things even, given who they're playing, given that they're stepping out and playing Texas, that they're playing Oregon and USC and have Ohio State at the end of the road on the road. So like you, I'm kind of a cynic, I guess, where I don't think the committee's going to see it that way.
I feel like we've just seen this world for so long in college football that some things like that are a given. But then again, they did leave out an undefeated Florida State team, and they'll do whatever they want. Bill, ultimately is what it comes down to. So that's why I say I don't have any hard and fast opinion on it. I'm not digging my heels in. It's just I have an opinion, but I'm just curious to see what the committee ultimately does whenever we get there. And of course, the AP Top 25 is just a starting point for all of us to have conversation. Bill Bender of the Sporting News, he's on Twitter at BillBender92. What's your thoughts on this LSU team, Bill?
They're going to be fun. I think Nussmeier in the bowl game, they're going to play offense. They're still going to be able to score. I'm really excited to see this USC game to start the season because USC's question mark is LSU's question mark, the defense. So are we going to see this wildly entertaining shootout as a result? I think LSU is right on the edge of that first tier. If Ole Miss is the 4th best team, then LSU or Missouri, take your pick, is the next best team, and that means that they're in contention. And the thing with LSU's schedule, I look at those schedules more than anything else. Most of the top ones are at home, and they've only lost one home game the last 2 years. So they're right there in the mix.
Be interesting to watch. That SC game is, God, it's just going to mean so much to both those teams. Whichever team wins is set up nicely. Whichever team loses, obviously, has very, very little margin for error. Where are you on Bama this year, post Nick Saban?
I've done the, those memes where you do the circle of life or whatever. I've come around from they're in big trouble, that everybody left, to, wait, Kalen DeBoer can coach, to, hey, they've got a lot of talent, and Jalen Milroe was pretty good last year. So I think they're going to be all right. I think they're going to be pretty good. I think they go up to Wisconsin and win early. Where I want to see what Kalen DeBoer can do is that stretch where they play LSU, Tennessee, Oklahoma on the road. I haven't played Oklahoma, but this might be the wrong station to point this out. You might hang up. Saban was 17-3 against LSU and Tennessee the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Those are the games Kalen DeBoer is going to need to win consistently. Forget about Georgia. I mean, that's going to be a really tough game no matter what. But you have to be consistent against those other rivals. And I think those other rivals, that's why they're not so sad to see Saban go.
Bill, we're not hanging up on you for that. That's just the reality. That's the reality that a lot of people have had to face for a long time. It's why I did backflips. Darn if I could. I physically would have whenever we're live on air and found out he was retiring. I mean, it's just, it feels like the most giant mountain is out of your way. It's not to say it's going to be easy, but it's
Right.
easier than it was when he was there. Bill, we've dug in so much on the SEC, but the other thing I think that a lot of people here we're all gonna have to wrap our brains around is like every league is gonna have an auto bid, and ACC, the new look Big 12, like those are kind of blind spots. Are you in the camp that like it's just Utah and then everybody else in the Big 12, or is there someone over there that could sneak up and steal a playoff spot?
The difference with that league is there's about 7. You and I could do a Big 12 draft and say, here, we got to find the champion and maybe an at-large. And I think we both leave happy. I think there's a half dozen teams that could win that conference. Utah coming into a new one, both Kansas schools, both ranked, both have good quarterbacks. Arizona coming off the year they had. If they still had Jed Fish, I'd like them even more. And West Virginia, I was looking at Garrett Green. They turned it on at the back half of last year with Neil Brown. And Garrett Green is a top returning quarterback in terms of yards per completion. He's got a little Tebow game to him. So Penn State's got a tough opener at West Virginia. That's what I'm telling you. And they'll be in the mix. And the ACC, same deal. Most interesting thing to me about this new setup is how long are we patient with the Group of 5 champions? If they go to the playoff every year and they're getting beat like Liberty did by Oregon last year, I don't see the SEC and Big Ten being very patient with that setup.
How do you feel about that?
Well, I'm an Ohio University grad. I'm a MAC grad, so I'm conflicted.
Can you be impartial?
It's hard because I'm conflicted because part of me is like, if Ohio University ever got that 12, I'd be decked out in my gear, ready to go to Knoxville or wherever, knowing what's there. I picked Knoxville, right? I didn't pick Baton Rouge. I want to go get a piece of Tennessee, and I'd be fired up like I am when they get in the NCAA tournament in basketball. Reality is probably that I'd probably have a better chance being a part of like a separate national championship instead of watching the Camellia Bowl every year. So I've struggled with this for years, but I still want the Bobcats to do well. I fear that that's going to be a thing where the next couple of years, that Group of 5, that best team gets blasted a couple times, and Greg Sankey or Tony Petitti's like, why are we giving them a spot? And it's probably going to be fair at that point.
That's no disrespect to the Bobcats, but that's always been my contention. You could give 30 teams the Ohio U schedule and they'd go undefeated against it. Power 5 teams, and it's what are we actually doing? But we're getting closer, Bill. With every change we make, we're getting closer to something that resembles an actual fair and equitable schedule. Since you brought up Big 12, let me just throw out a sort of obligatory Dion Colorado question, because he inherited a team that won 1 game, and he won 4, which is really good. But nobody really views it that way because of how it ended and everything, and there's massive turnover. I don't know if they're going to be as interesting this year as they were for a point of last year. Any feeling on what the Buffaloes are and what they have?
I didn't like his press conference last week at all.
I agree.
Maybe it's because I'm a media member, but from both sides of it. I didn't like that Dion kept pressing, and if I'm a reporter, I was texting some of my buddies, and I said, you know what, if that's me, I either just shut up, or maybe if he kept pressing me like that, I might have left. I said, all right, I'm done. I'm just going to leave because I'm not going to take this for something that I didn't write. I think they're going to be very interesting in the opener against North Dakota State. North Dakota State's an FCS. That's not a cupcake. That's one that's got a little glass in it. We'll all watch because it's the best game on Thursday night. And I'm kind of with you. I don't know that they'll be as interesting unless they go 4-0 again. And I can tell you, Nebraska wants them up there at Memorial Stadium. They really want that one with Matt Rule. They're mad about how last year went, an old school rivalry. I think Shedeur and Travis Hunter are going to be really fun, but they'll lose some games and lose some steam. It's classic bandwagon stuff. It's easy. I think it's easier than when you and I were younger for kids to jump off bandwagons because they do it awfully quick.
I don't know. When I was young, it was a long time ago, man. It feels like it now anyway. Hey, real quick, last one. What about the ACC? I want to circle back there. I know Florida State is the highest ranked ACC team there, preseason number 10, but it feels like they lose a ton, obviously, off that great team from a year ago, including Jordan Travis. What are your thoughts on the Seminoles in that league?
That's my point. In Florida State, and when I was younger, that Miami bandwagon was pretty full. And it stayed full because they won since the Stain went. And now Miami's back as this team that we maybe they can challenge Florida State. Clemson's kind of off the radar. I still think they got a ton of talent with Dabo. I don't really care how he uses the transfer portal right this second because I think they got a pretty good football team this year. I still think Florida State's the best team in the conference, though. I don't care about the bowl game loss against Georgia. I think DJU will be all right at quarterback, and they'll have enough talent to win that conference. Biggest question for the ACC and the Big 12 kind of brings our conversation full circle. I don't know how viable they are for two bids every year. I mean, we just watched Florida State not get in undefeated. I'm interested to see how the committee treats those two leagues, especially if there's parity.
Well, great news is we're about to tee it up, kick it off, and actually have real games to talk about. And we'll start to see some of this stuff materialize. Bill Bender over at the Sporting News. He's on Twitter at BillBender92 or X, BillBender92 if you want to give him a follow. We appreciate it, Bill. Looking forward to chatting again as the season moves along, man.
Hey, anytime. Thanks for having me on. Take care.
That's our pleasure. Always good stuff from Bill. Good conversation. God knows the whole landscape of the country, which is it's not easy to do, right? I mean, I feel like we're really good at LSU and knowing the SEC deep, but to be able to know the Power Four and then the G5 as well deep, it's a different challenge. But Bill does a great job. We always appreciate a couple of minutes. All right, it's After Further Review. Brought to you by Parish Construction and Roofing, parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Friday was sign day over at Parish Construction and Roofing. That's right, our new sign right there on I-10 at Highland Road went up. So if you're driving down I-10, give us a honk and a wave. You can't miss it. Literally, if you're driving down I-10, it is directly across from Blue Bayou Water Park. You'll see it. The sign went up. It was a lot of fun and really cool. Kind of a landmark day over there. So our new office, we're in it. They're actually putting the new, oddly, the last thing to get done for a roofing company is the roof. But tearing off the old roof, putting a new green roof on tomorrow. So you'll see it right there, Highland and I-10, directly across Interstate 10 from Blue Bayou. But most importantly, if you're having issues with your roof, we'd love to help you out. Whether residential or commercial, repairs, replacements, we do it all. Parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com, B-U-I-L-T, parishbuilt.com. You can call us. You can fill out the form on the homepage. We'd love to help you out, give you that free, no-obligation roofing inspection. You probably saw as well, if you were watching the Saints game on a Saturday night, the Louisiana Department of Insurance, LDI, has a massive marketing campaign going on right now for the Fortified Roof Program, whereby Louisiana homeowners can get a $10,000 grant toward a fortified roof. Now, a fortified roof effectively adds extra layers of security to your roof to prevent water intrusion. With a fortified roof, you can dramatically lower your insurance premiums by as much, depending on your insurance company, by as much as 50% if you have a fortified roof. And the state is giving $10,000 grants to add a fortified roof to your home. We can help you fill out the whole grant paperwork, go through the whole process. We'd love to help you out. If you have any questions, parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Do business with someone you know, Parish Construction and Roofing. All right, Muse will have Tigers in the Pros coming up right here after the break. Ross Jackson after the top of the hour out in Irvine. We get a Saints update, find out Ross's takeaways from the Saints preseason game against Arizona. Practice yesterday as the Houdatts have the day off. And I want to let you hear much more, man. Garrett Nussmeier, Harold Perkins, Ashton Stamps, guys all met with reporters today. We heard from Blake Baker after practice on Saturday. Got a ton of LSU stuff still to delve into. If you missed our LSU practice report in hour one, you can catch it on demand at 1045ESPN.com. YouTube podcasts, wherever you get your on-demand content, it's all there. Just search After Further Review. Okay, quick break. It's AFR.
AFR.
Get Gordon, get it done. Gordon McKernan, Injury Attorneys. Hey, today is the day, y'all. Today is the day that the Get Gordon Billboard contest reignites. You remember this from a year ago where Gordon asked all of you to design the next Gordon McKernan Injury Attorney billboard, and some great prizes are out there up for grabs. The deadline is September the 8th. Go to getgordon.com/billboards for all the info. Again, getgordon.com/billboards to get the info. Prizes valued up to $2,000 plus. You could see your design on a billboard in town. It's the Gordon McKernan Injury Attorney Design My Next Billboard Contest. Get all the info at getgordon.com/billboards. Again, getgordon.com/billboards. Links and info on their social media pages as well. You know what to do. Get Gordon and get it done.
It's an everyday thing here. We work horses in the mornings and we work on the property during the day, and without these John Deere tractors, it'd almost be impossible to keep up with the place. I've dealt with some of the other colors and stuff, and I never really got the response back that I get from John Deere, We really enjoy dealing with Sunshine. They're good people. They always check on us and make sure our equipment's running, and we love them. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $20,000 off new 23 Ram 1500 trucks. We're open for business in our beautiful new showroom and taking $20,000 off the powerful Ram truck. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our #1 product is always customer satisfaction. Visit us online at reliefwindows.com.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows, windows, doors, siding. Oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
Got a text to the show text line from Greg Lehman, who said, do you have your camp notes from last year's fall camp? It would be interesting to compare the defensive performance from both camps, what we saw last year, what we're thinking this year. As a matter of fact, I do. Same notebook. So I spent that break reading my camp notes from last year. I'm going to keep doing that while Muso does Tigers in the pros. This is interesting.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
Careful, we need you for the rest of the show. Don't get too depressed over there reading those camp notes from last year.
A lot of Jaden Daniels plays in here.
Speaking of, that's where we start Tigers in the pros. Did you see JD5?
As a matter of fact, it did.
On Saturday, he was making plays.
Turns out he doesn't stink.
Nope. It's going to work out okay, I think, for Jaden Daniels in the NFL. He got one drive for the Commanders in their opening preseason game against the Jets. I don't know where Texans came from. Against the Jets. 2 out of 3 for 45 yards through the air, then averaging 15 yards per completion, and then punctuated the drive with his first professional touchdown, a 1-carry, 3-yard scamper around the right side off of a read option. Got the Commanders on the board. Really solid debut for JD5.
So Jaden Daniels, accurate downfield and still outrunning defenders to the pylon.
Checks out, yes?
Got it, yeah.
Okay.
Got it. That place, yep, got it.
Just making sure. Joe Burrow is back from his wrist injury. Did you see Joey B on Saturday?
I saw him walking into the stadium.
Pretty darn good. 5 out of 7 for 51 yards and a touchdown. No interceptions for Joe Burrow.
Slim Shady.
I think I've seen all I need to see of him. You can just wrap him in bubble wrap for the rest of the preseason. You know what else checks out? That Brian Thomas Jr. is still really good at receiving the football.
Yeah.
He was targeted twice, made one catch, but it was the first target. Underthrown ball, deep down the field, made a nice adjustment, contested grab, 41 yards, and you can have a seat after that, Brian Thomas
That's the rest of your day. There it is,
Yeah.
right there.
It was really good.
Bloop, bloop,
Really, really good.
Yep, he can play.
Last
Good.
football note for you here. Brian Daboll said Monday to ESPN and sources that Malik Neighbors, day-to-day, after he left a weekend practice with an injury, that injury categorized as a low ankle sprain by Brian Daboll. It was not believed to be fractured, but Malik Neighbors is, quote, sore. So day-to-day there. Major League Baseball action to get to you. Alex Bregman just completely destroyed the Boston Red Sox
I thought I was
over the
going to
weekend.
go through my 11 on 11 notes.
What?
I thought I was going to go through my 11 on 11 notes from last year.
Okay.
Muse. From August 15th, LSU practice, 11 on 11.
I mean, yes, I'd rather talk about that what Alex Bregman did. 2 for 4 yesterday. 3-run homer blew the game open, so that's 3 RBI. Also added his 24th double and scored twice. He had a really good weekend. Is DJ LeMahieu heating up? Kind of looks like DJ LeMahieu's finally heating up.
Well, he might be getting healthy finally.
That would help.
And he is.
2 for 3 yesterday with a couple singles and a ribby, and scored a run. Not to be outdone, Josh Smith, 2 for 4. 2 for 4 with his 21st double. But the Yankees got the win. That's Tigers in the pros.
All right, so 11 on 11, 1st and 10, Savion Jones got a pressure, incomplete pass intended for Noah Cain. 2nd and 10, Jaden steps up, completed pass to Mason Taylor. 1st and 10, we're out of time. You just wanted to talk all about that baseball stuff when I'm sitting trying to read my notes for people. All right, I'll get to that after. Stay here. It's AFR.
AFR.
And I can't even do that because we got Ross coming up. All right, First South Farm Credit, firstsouthland.com. If you're thinking of buying land, your first call, your first option always is First South Farm Credit. Go to firstsouthland.com, firstsouthland.com. Chances are in your life, at some point, you've borrowed money. And I have never gotten a check from my borrower. From my lender. If you borrow with First South Farm Credit, you'd get a check every year. For 29 straight years, their patronage refund, because they're a cooperative, they share with their members. They share their profits. It effectively lowers your cost of borrowing. They're a Louisiana company. Since 1916, they've done one thing at First South Farm Credit: help Louisianians buy land. FirstSouthland.com. If you want more information, you start at the website. Your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthland.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Farming is a way of life for us. It's not something we get up in the morning and dread going do. It's just something we go to bed at night looking forward to getting up to go do. John Deere equipment is what we as farmers strive to have. It's in your blood, it's in your veins. It's just a part of who you are. Green is what we want to be in. The other tractors were acquired to patch it up to get to where you want to be. Where we want to be is in John Deere. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. An unusual development for the Jets and Hassan Reddick. 4.5 months after he was traded to New York, the edge rusher wants out. Officially requested a trade. The Jets informed him they will not trade him. The team should have made the contract matter clear with Reddick before acquiring him from Philadelphia, says former NFL All-Pro linebacker Chad Brown.
If you will not accept the parameters of the new deal we're going to offer you, then there is no trade. This is how you eliminate all this crap from the giddy-up. You're interested in becoming a Jet? We'd love to have you. Let's work on this deal, get this banged out, then we can make this trade happen. No deal, no trade.
Chad Brown on Freddie and Harry. Multiple teams have inquired about trading for pass rusher Matthew Judon amid his contract stalemate with New England. Chiefs receiver Marquise Brown will not need surgery for his dislocated shoulder. His status for the season opener is uncertain. Major League Baseball suspended Red Sox outfielder Jarren Duran 2 games for directing an anti-gay slur at a fan during yesterday's loss. The Dodgers' Mookie Betts returns from a broken hand tonight in Milwaukee. He's missed the last 8 weeks.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy discount by combining your car, home, motorcycle, commercial auto, and more. All your protection in one place. Bundle and save at Progressive.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
Let's ride!
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
We need to change Paul's drop to just a sneeze. Musa. And Mr. Toby Tom Blake. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. It's 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you're driving home with us. LSU was back on the practice field earlier today, gave you a full camp report. Saints had the day off, but normally when the Saints are off, we cut Ross Jackson loose, but we decided to reel him in today anyway because the Saints played a preseason game on Saturday. They practiced Sunday, so I wanted to kind of recap a lot of that, and Ross is good enough to join us from the beach. Doesn't suck being in Irvine, California. How are you, man?
Hey, buddy. Doing great. I am indeed hanging out at Huntington Beach today, not to make anybody jealous, but, nice day out here.
It's 96 degrees at 5:03 p.m., Ross. We are all insanely jealous of you right now.
Yeah, that sounds terrible.
Yeah, it is terrible. Thanks for that. Anyway, hey, big takeaways from preseason game number 1 against Arizona.
Yeah, I think obviously one of the biggest things was always going to be sort of the excellent performance by rookie quarterback Spencer Rattler, right? I mean, he gets out there at the beginning of the second half, leads a touchdown drive, which he himself runs in from 4 yards out. Then he leads the big game-winning drive at the end, setting things up for rookie kicker Charlie Smith who, by the way, never kicked a field goal in an American football game. And then the first time that he gets to kick a field goal, he's kicking a 37-yard game winner, and he drills it. I mean, pretty nice stuff, even after getting iced in that situation, too. Really cool stories to come out of there.
When I'm looking at my Twitter or my X, and that should not be the basis for every start of a conversation,
Sure.
I would believe two things if I knew nothing about football. One, Spencer Rattler's going to the Hall of Fame, and two, the Saints' offensive line is absolutely horrific. What did you see that could we talked about Rattler. What about the offensive line?
Yeah, I think the offensive line was maybe one of my bigger concerns, particularly, and I don't think it's any mystery for anybody who watched that game, Trevor Penning, fitting in over at right tackle, learning a new position, trying to get his technique right, things like that. Even a guy like Duke Manyweather, who has been a part of so many successful offensive line careers through his offensive line mastermind programs and things like that, took to Twitter, kind of talked about how he saw a guy that wasn't relying on his technique, kind of lost everything in those moments. It just wasn't a very good day for him. Outside of that, though, I thought that we learned that Lucas Patrick is very likely the team's starting left guard. He is their most aggressive, most physical offensive lineman. Taliese Falanga looked really good over at left tackle as well. And I think, you've already got your starters at center and right guard. So I think beyond that, I think the other concerns just kind of come through depth. So we'll see how those things improve throughout. But the biggest thing that everyone should be watching is Trevor Penning at that right tackle spot.
Do you think, and I want to get to Sunday's practice here in a second, but we all tend to, Ross, I think, focus so much on the obvious. Well, A.T. Perry caught a big 50-yard pass. Spencer Rattler led the game-winning drive. What were the things, the nuanced things that you noticed or that DA talked about when you all met yesterday that maybe that weren't obvious watching the game?
Yeah, for sure. Sticking with A.T. Perry, I think one of the things that endeared him to the coaching staff a bit more than the big 58-yard catch was his willingness as a blocker. It shows up on the tape big time. He was in there, getting ready or rather was ready to help contribute to the run game. I think that was a big thing. I think Rico Payton was another guy that really stood out, the undrafted free agent cornerback who struggled in practices, was targeted 6 times, only allowed 1 catch. I think that was a big guy that ended up maybe, setting himself up, maybe raising his stock a little bit in terms of where he was starting here over the course of training camp. And then I would just look at the offense. 9 snaps for the starting offense. Only 4 of them included any motion. All of that motion, all 4 of those plays were either Foster Moreau and Taysom Hill. So it was really basic stuff. No motion at the snap, which means that everybody was settled on their movement before the snap actually happened. So, yeah, I think they called it a vanilla offense. I would call it a milk-flavored offense. It was very, very plain. And that's not like an insult to the offense. It's just relative to, the caramel cashew cluster chunk offense that we've seen at training camp that's had so many goodies be a part of it. It was just a very plain look on the offense. So easy to get evaluations on guys that struggled in that circumstance. Tougher to find the nuances, but there was certainly some.
Makes sense. That's why he's one of the best. Ross Jackson, Locked On Saints. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast. And LouisianaSports.net. He'll be leading our coverage for the New Orleans Saints. We're glad to have Ross on board, and we are looking for a launch of the site this week, so we'll keep you posted on that. Sunday, day after a game, I would imagine they just sort of take it easy the day after a game. What did they do out there on Sunday?
Yeah, it was a pretty light day, at least in the start. It did pick up energy-wise throughout. They worked a lot of situational stuff. So we saw some red zone work when it came to full team drills. And then we saw more work for end-of-game situations. And so that's where, kind of the energy picked up. It was a little bit different just because of the fact there were only 2 quarterbacks there. Derek Carr and Jake Haener were the ones that got those snaps. Spencer Rattler missed with a thigh contusion, but he's expected to be back at tomorrow's practice, so I wouldn't be too worried about that at all. But Jake Haener excelled again, leading another, game-winning touchdown drive in a simulation. He's done that before in training camp, followed it up again yesterday in Sunday's practice. I think that we saw a really good follow-up, too, for A.T. Perry. And we saw a lot of healthy players coming back. So we see the team getting a little bit healthier. Guys like Rashid Shaheed, Bub Means, Equinemius St. Brown, Paulson Adebo, and others all kind of making their reappearance in yesterday's practice. So I thought that was good news for them, too.
Last thing for you. I know the joint practices with the Niners are canceled. How big of a deal is that?
It can be a pretty big deal in 2 specific occasions. I think the 2 things that you're really watching here is the first one, comes down to, you don't now get an opportunity for your starters to get more reps against unfamiliar opponents. So does that mean that you end up playing your starters a little bit more throughout this preseason? That's one thing that the Saints will have to juggle. The other thing is that you now, if you're going to keep playing that kind of milk-flavored offense we were talking about earlier throughout the preseason, you now have no opportunity to play your new offensive scheme against an unfamiliar opponent before toe meets leather week 1 against the Carolina Panthers. That's another thing that they have to consider. Do they now show a little bit more of that scheme in these preseason games so that they actually get that work against opponents? Those are going to be the two big things that I think you're going to see them at least have to consider. Doesn't mean that they'll make any changes in terms of how they were already planning to run the preseason, but I imagine those would be the considerations.
Organic milk, almond milk, whole milk?
This was straight 2%. Straight skim.
Skim milk. Ross Jackson, at Ross Jackson Nola. Follow him. Subscribe to Locked on Saints, and you'll read his stuff at LouisianaSports.net. Coming up later this week. We appreciate it, man. Thanks. Enjoy the beach.
Thanks, man. Absolutely. Take care. Stay safe. Talk to you soon.
We'll see you. It's After Further Review. Brought to you by Supper Club. Closed today. Closed on Mondays. Open Tuesday to Saturday. Looking ahead to the weekend, one of our final few weekends before football engulfs our lives. You can book a reservation over at supperclubbtr.com. Supperclubbtr.com. Of course, love telling you about all the great goodies over at Supper Club. How about you get a steak from Sagrera Farms up in Ethel? It's amazing how they treat their animals there. Like, they literally water the animals to keep them cool. Everything they eat is intentional. It's how you get this incredibly pristine beef product. And you can find it right there at Supper Club on Perkins Road. Of course, they've got the things from across the world that you can only get at Supper Club, like the Omi beef from Japan. It's a 400-year-old farm where they used to feed that beef to samurai, hundreds of years ago. You can get it in Baton Rouge at Supper Club. You can always have the night of your life. You want to belly up to the bar, open seating at the bar, have a cocktail, a glass of wine after work, eat dinner at the bar. You want to have the time of your life. You want to rent out the private room, you can do it. It's at Supper Club. SupperClubbTR.com. It's like stepping out of Baton Rouge and into Las Vegas or New York City or L.A. or London or Paris or Dubai. It's incredible, and it's right there on Perkins Road. If you've not yet experienced Supper Club, it's time. Get your reservation. SupperClubbTR.com. SupperClubbTR.com. Okay, y'all. It's After Further Review. Appreciate Ross for being here. Bill Bender was here last hour. If you missed anything, AFR On Demand presented by Breck Golf. Book your tee time, golf.breck.org. You can get it all on demand. I was going, we had a question on the text line from Greg, who said, we were talking about the LSU camp reports. And if you missed my open to the show, I'll summarize. You can go get the full report. But my takeaway is with the defense, the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. When we watch individual, the offense annihilates the defense. It's not close. It's almost embarrassing. When they've gone into team periods, the defense is not only competent, they're actually good. I've charted 5 team periods, 11 on 11. I've charted 5. That's not to say that's all they've done in camp. That's the ones that I have seen. I have yet to see the first offense score a touchdown against the first defense. Again, they're inside for portions of practice we don't see. They kick us out while they still practice other stuff we don't see. There's probably stuff that I miss, situational, don't know. But what I have charted in 11 on 11, 5 periods and 7 practices that we've seen, I've yet to see the first offense score a touchdown against the first defense, which tells me when the defense is out there and you have a pass rush and you have Harold Perkins and corners have safety help and they're playing two high safeties, it's they're playing cover 2. They've simplified to the point where their guys can be fast and physical and aggressive. They got good energy and they're playing well. It happened again today. So I'm not saying they can keep that up over 60 minutes in a game against another team that's trying hard. I'm not saying they're going to be awesome. I'm just saying they're pulling in the same direction when they have 11 out there. And it's looked better, a lot better, than when it's just receivers on corners, because that's been a blowout. Anyway, Greg asked if I'd had my notes from last year's camp, and I do, as a matter of fact. I was starting to read them at the end of last hour. I'll go over some of that because it is interesting as I was reading through it. And then Blake Baker met with reporters on Saturday. He covered a lot of ground. I want to get into some of that. It's AFR.
AFR.
Hey, get on by and see our friends over at Clegg's Nursery. Any of the 4 locations, Siegen Air Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Don Moore, Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Told you last week, Mr. Teresa let me know they've already got buckbusters in. So if you're a deer hunter looking for buckbusters, they've already got it in over at the 4 Clegg's Nursery locations. We're waiting on Mobucks and on deer corn, but when it comes, we'll let you know when it's available. Also, they've got Johnny Naylor seeds, and they're starting to get those fall bedding plants and your fall vegetable garden plants. So if you're looking to plant your fall vegetable garden, now is the time to get the seeds in the ground, start that fall vegetable garden. So they got you covered over at Clegg's Nursery, any of the 4 locations. Also, spending time outside, because let's face it, it's 96 degrees. It still feels like summer. And mosquitoes are a problem. Aeon Mosquito Barrier. They've got it at Clegg's, $30 a month thereabouts, or $30 for a canister, and you'll be done with mosquitoes 90 days at a time. It's at Clegg's Nursery.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
It's an everyday thing here. We work horses in the mornings and we work on the property during the day, and without these John Deere tractors, it'd almost be impossible to keep up with the place. I've dealt with some of the other colors and stuff, and I never really got the response back that I get from John Deere, We really enjoy dealing with Sunshine. They're good people. They always check on us and make sure our equipment's running, and we love them. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows, windows, doors, siding. Oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
Okay, let me do this really quickly because I want to get on to what Blake Baker had to say after practice on Saturday. Greg Lehman, and I know it's not Lehman. I just like saying Greg Lehman, texted the show and said, hey, do you have your notes from last year's fall camp? Any of the 11 on 11? I do, as a matter of fact. And I looked up this 11 on 11 series. This was August 15th. So almost a year to the day. Today's the 12th. Almost a year to the day.
How about
that? Do you want the 7 on 7 or just the 11 on 11?
I want the 11 on 11.
Just the 11 on 11.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, because that's the comp here, right?
Okay. So They put 1 minute and 50 seconds on the clock, so this would have been a 2-minute offense. Noah Cain was at running back. 1st and 10, Savion Jones got a pressure. They threw an incomplete pass intended for Noah Cain. 2nd and 10. Jaden steps up in the pocket, hits Mason Taylor for a first down.
Mason Taylor!
Handoff to Noah Cain for no gain. 2nd and 10. Jaden throws it away to the left side. 3rd and 10. Deep right side to Kyron Lacey down to the 18-yard line on 3rd and 10.
Checks out.
Because, of course.
Checks out.
Braden Swinson gets a sack. 38 seconds left. Offense calls a timeout. On 2nd and 16, Jaden scrambles for a touchdown. I'm like, yeah, that's about it. That's about how the season went, right? I mean, that's a pretty representative sample of how the season went.
3rd and long, failure.
Yeah.
And then Jaden just
Jaden'd.
Yeah.
He Jaden'd. That's what he did. Yeah.
Turns out you can learn a lot watching practice.
Yeah. Oh, that was when Lance Hurd got in a fight on this day. On this day in LSU football history. Now I'm looking at the 7-on-7, see if there's anything interesting. Brian? I'm like, who was 11? Brian Thomas. Now I'm recalibrating. Well, I'm recalibrating my brain from last year. Like 11, I think now I'm Woodley because when I chart everything, I chart jersey numbers because you can't write out people's names.
It takes too long. For sure.
Brian Thomas beat Deuce Chestnut on a crossing pattern.
Man, hindsight.
RB outlet 25. That was Trey Holly. Deep right complete to Brian Thomas over Deuce Chestnut.
Again, another one.
Yeah, this is the 7-on-7. They hit
14. Another one.
Yeah, there it is. 14 on a shallow. Who was 14 last year? Oh, it was Jaylen Brown.
Oh.
Jaylen Brown. 14.
Are we sure?
Well, I kept messing up him and Kyle Parker. Well, now that Jaylen Brown's gone, I got it. Kyle Parker's 12. I got it. 17 was Chris Hilton, had a drop, tight window. 5 had a PBU on Jaylen Brown. Who was 5 last year? This is terrible radio.
This is bad.
I'm going through
why?
1-year-old notes.
When you said 5, and I thought DB, the first name that popped up was Jay Ward. And I know it wasn't Jay Ward. Yeah.
No.
So,
Who was 5 last year?
Who was 5 last year? Is that one of the guys that left?
Hey, I got an idea.
I'm looking it up.
If only there were this thing. If only there were this thing where you could ask it anything and it would give you the answer right away. Instead of just like pensively looking at the ceiling. Look it up, Muse.
I am looking it up.
Let's see. Then they hit Trey Holly on an outlet. That Jaylen Brown had a big day here with the twos. He had a catch over number 29. I don't know who 29 was last year. Actually, he was double covered. He beat 29 and 6. Are you looking up the roster from last year?
I am, but they didn't want to work. That was Terrence Welsh, number 5.
Okay, who was 29 and 6?
6. Hold on, I passed that up already. 6 would have been Jordan Allen.
Okay, so he didn't change his number. Okay.
No.
Who was 29?
29 would have been Jeremiah Hughes.
This all checks out. This all checks out.
Yeah.
Let's see.
It sure does.
Okay, then Nuss went in there. Let's see, 82. Who was 82 last year?
Ooh.
Not Kylan Billiot, who's 82 now.
No, it was not. It was not. 82. Pass it up. Hold on. 82 was Kai Preen.
Okay, Preon.
Yeah, Kai Preon.
Kai Preon.
Thank you, yes.
Okay, he caught a pass from Nuss. Incomplete, almost intercepted off a deflection. This is Nuss, by the way, last year. 19 had a PBU over Kyron Lacey, who was 19 last year.
Getting to that. Let's see. Number 19 was not Jay Bramblett. Javen Nichols?
Javen Nichols. Okay, so he's still 19.
Yeah.
Let's see. 8 had a touchdown over 24. That would have been Malik over Zy Alexander.
Correct.
And then 8 caught a touchdown where he dragged his feet. He was pretty good at 8.
It's just it all makes sense when you go back and look at it.
That's accurate. I mean, that's a time capsule.
It sounds like something I watched every Saturday for like 4 months.
So fast forward to now, and you go out there and you watch these periods where receivers are 1-on-1 with DBs, or it's 2-on-2, and it's overwhelming. I mean, what were my notes? Hang on. This was Saturday. Saturday in the goal, so they started at the 10-yard line, and it was either a 2 or 3 receiver set. No linebackers. It was just either two receivers, 2 corners, 3 receivers, 3 DBs, whatever. Offense won 13, the defense won 3, and then there were 3 incomplete passes that were on the quarterbacks. At one point, they hit 7 straight touchdowns, and 9 out of 10. The one they didn't hit was a ball Colin Hurley was intended for Shelton Sampson. He threw it into the ground. Like, it was bad. Offense, defense, line pass rush drills, they ran 30 reps. The offense won 22, the defense won 3, and there were 5 pushes. I said, even if you give all the pushes to the defense, it's still 22-8. But then they go into team period, and they get sacks and interceptions and pass breakups, and it's like, oh, they're playing actual football, and they're better. Which is why it was interesting to hear Blake Baker afterwards. So Blake Baker was at, and in the 16-minute press conference after practice on Saturday, Blake Baker got stuck on one word or a variation of one word. And I don't even need to tell you what it is because you're going to hear it when he says it over and over again in these clips. Play number 2 first. The question was, how do you get better stopping the run in the A-gap and with your cornerbacks out wide?
You know, that's where we got to get more consistency. When we do our job, we're pretty good. Today, we ended up giving up a deep ball from a coverage bust, and then we had a big run, hit up the A-gap from an assignment standpoint. So when we play it right, we're pretty good. When we don't, we got to get it on the ground from the secondary. So, again, looking for marked improvement. These next 6 days, we have a recovery day, then we go 6 days straight. I think the cream will start rising to the crop, and we'll figure out. Again, we're mixing and matching a lot of guys right now, and so it's hard to pinpoint who on that play or who on that play, necessarily didn't do their job. But, overall, we just got to be more consistent as a unit. In today's game, you can't just play with 11 players. You got to have 22, 25, 26, especially with the opportunity now with a playoff. So we're looking to build depth right now, and then by the next 6 days, we're going to start paring it down and figuring out who's our guy.
So you probably started to get the key of what the word is. This was where he was asked what he wants the defensive identity to be.
What I want it to be or what we are right now. Right now, I'll be honest, we're inconsistent. What I want it to be, if we do our job, I think we got a chance to be pretty good. I really do. I think we have all the pieces in place to have a good defense. What I want to see is a little more player-led accountability and guys just doing their job on a consistent basis. If we do that, we can have a good year. We're not there yet, but I think we have really good speed. I think we're physical. We're still improving as a tackling unit right now, but we have shown improvement from the spring. I think our guys really work hard at it. You don't have a lot of opportunities to tackle live throughout fall camp, but we work hard on it, through drill work and whatnot. But I think we have a chance to be pretty good. We just got to be more consistent.
Did you get the word? Anybody get the word?
I got the word.
What do you think the word is?
The word of the day? Consistent.
You get the ding. Yeah. There it is. Yeah. Consistent. We're inconsistent. We need more consistency. The variations therein. They see it. The coaches see it. They see flashes defensively. And there's times where the defense as a whole plays well. But Brian Kelly said it last Tuesday that they need to be more consistent. When Joe Sloan met with us, you remember what Joe Sloan said? They win a rep, we win a rep, they win a rep, we win a rep. Both, they're looking for consistency. Hit the ding. Make this like Sesame Street. And we hit the word of the day. Or like Pee-wee's Funhouse or Pee-wee.
Yeah, that's what it was. The word of the day.
The word of the day.
Yeah, Pee-wee.
And you go, ah! You go crazy. Anyway. A couple other things that Blake Baker said that I found interesting. He was asked about Harold Perkins and how Perkins is developing this year in the new defense. And this is interesting because I'm going to let you hear what Baker said about Perkins, and then Monday Perkins met with the media. I'm going to let you hear what Perkins said about Baker. So first, Baker on Perkins.
He's doing an unbelievable job. Harold Perkins right now is playing on fire. Again, have a lot on his plate mentally. We have packages where we're moving him all around, so he's not just playing on the inside, but he's fitting the run as well as anybody that we have at linebacker right now. I think our linebackers are doing a good job overall fitting the run, but very, very pleased with Harold and really his development. Again, you talk about from where we started this thing at the beginning of spring to where he is now, it's night and day, and he's an ascending player. I really think he's not even scratching the surface still of where he's going to be. So I look forward to, every single week him improving, but very, very happy with what he's doing right now.
By the way, you heard Blake Baker say Harold's doing great with his run fits and all. In the scrimmage portion we saw on Saturday, There was a 3rd and 5 play. Harold Perkins through the left side, got a 5-yard TFL on Caleb Jackson. We've also seen Harold Perkins drop into coverage, come up with interceptions, batted balls, sacks. Today, as we were walking out, literally the last play that we weren't even supposed to see it because they walked us out after the first unit, then second unit went. First unit was going again. The first play of the second series for the first team that we saw was Harold Perkins, who beat Garrett Dellinger on the left side for a sack. So, yeah, I mean, we're seeing Harold Perkins do a variety of things. I shared this with you as well. The one of the alignments that they used today on Monday that we saw was this is definitely a speed like pass rush lineup. They kicked Savion Jones inside, had Swinson and Shand as the ends, and they stood Harold Perkins up on the outside on the left. So you went Perkins, Swinson, Jones, Shand across your front, and then you had Major Burns in that star spot. Whit Weeks was the lone linebacker in the middle. So Blake Baker is changing it up. Like, you're getting different looks, and they are moving Harold Perkins around a bunch. Like, from what we get to see, I don't think it's one of those things where you're just going to see Harold Perkins plopped in the middle of defense, eating up blocks and double teams from guards all the time. They're very clearly moving him around a lot. Now, that's what Baker said about Perkins. On Monday, Harold Perkins met with reporters and was asked about being around Blake Baker.
He's great at breaking things down and getting to the core things and making sure we understand it. And if we're not understanding it, then we have walkthroughs and things like that. But he's a great coach, great teacher, and we just try to soak up. We just sponges in there. We just trying to soak up all the knowledge we can.
And one more from Perkins on Baker. He was asked, what's the biggest improvement he's made with Blake Baker's help so far?
Confidence. I feel like without confidence, you know what I'm saying, you ain't going to be able to go out there and do what you do best. So I say just confidence. Knowing I got him in my pocket is a great confidence booster for myself, and I'm pretty sure for my teammates too.
I would never look at Harold Perkins and say, the one thing that guy lacks is confidence. But sometimes you never know, man, what a guy's bravado may be, what he is outwardly, what he is, inwardly. But Blake Baker, I don't know if y'all saw the video LSU posted. It was really funny. Baker was on the sideline, and Nuss threw a ball, and Baker on the sideline almost intercepted it. He leapt and tried to intercept it, and he dropped it. He dropped the pick, and so he drops and just starts hammering out push-ups on the sideline. If you haven't seen the video, it's there. But one of the things that I'll tell you, when they went 11 on 11, like the energy of, like, you can just tell, like, the energy of practice starts to elevate when they go 11 on 11 because they know it's free. Like, you're not doing drills. You're playing football now. You're not hitting bags. You're not doing drills. You're not running through cones. Like, you're playing football. And Blake Baker is a young dude, super fit, tons of energy, and I think that's rubbing off on the team as well. They play in these team periods with that type of energy and emotion. It's been enlightening. And I feel like every time I talk about this, I have to add the qualifier. I'm not telling you they're awesome. I'm not telling you they're going to be top 10, top 20, top 30. I don't know what they're going to be. They're inconsistent, according to their coach right now. I'm just sharing with you what my eyes are seeing. What my eyes are seeing is when they do individual periods, the defense gets absolutely annihilated. Every position group, every practice, all the time. And then they go into team, and they're good. They get sacks and batted balls and interceptions and deflected passes and pressures and stuff to run, and, they make plays. And I think that's a huge compliment to what the staff's been able to do to simplify and let these guys play loose and free. Whereas last year you saw the palms up. Play that Poodle one. He talks about this. So apparently Blake Baker has, just listen.
And then Poodles, that's lack of physicality or trying to show up your teammate. If a big thing to me is body language. If a guy gets beat deep and he puts his palms up, that's a Poodle. If we turn down a hit, that's a Poodle. So we don't want Poodles.
You know what they want? They want Cur Dogs, Muse.
All right, chill out.
They want cur dogs.
They want tigers.
And what he could have said kitten. He said
could
poodle.
have.
He said poodle.
Yeah.
You know what they want? They want cur dogs. That's what they want. It's the definition of that, bro. That's what that is, man. Shout out to the cur dog. Bob Cade, he died. He was the original. There was a guy named Bob Cade who went by the cur, like that was his name, the cur dog, and he taught it the whole. That's where all that originated from. But you say we don't want any. He might have said poodles.
Hey, look, man, maybe.
What did he say? I forgot. He used a certain breed of dogs. We don't want. It might have been a poodle. Might have been something like that. But a cur dog. Anyway, brought me right back, Muse. Brought me right back.
I'm still not over just the casually he died that you slipped in there. But yeah,
Bob K. He did. He passed.
I know, but it just the way you
well, I'm
said
sorry.
it.
I didn't mean it disrespectfully. It was just.
I know you didn't mean it disrespectfully. I just wasn't expecting that.
I'm sorry.
So, I mean, it was like
I did not. I did not in any way mean that to be disrespectful. I was just stating it was a statement of fact, and it's a gentleman that's no longer living. But anyway, yeah, dude, that thing's lived on. But it's that mentality though. All right, it's after further review. I got a break anyway. Just go to break.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by the Watermark Hotel and the Renaissance Hotel, two amazing hotel properties, Watermark downtown, Renaissance Southtown right there on Bluebonnet by the interstate. Hey, football season is almost here, y'all. If you got family coming in for football games, have them book Watermark downtown, Renaissance Southtown right there in Bluebonnet. Remember the Renaissance? That's where the LSU football team will stay Friday nights before every home game. So when I say, hey, they're in the business of saying yes, whatever event you may have, a dozen people up to 500 people, they can host it with their space. They use every nook and cranny of that building for position meetings, for team meals, for prayer service, for all the things that LSU does on the Friday and then Saturday before a game. They do at the Renaissance Hotel, and they manipulate their space to make it perfect. So whatever event you have coming up, call Allison Crump over at the Renaissance. She'll make it happen, I promise. It's the Renaissance Hotel right there in Bluebonnet. It's the Watermark and the Renaissance Hotels.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it.
Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the case of an after-hours emergency.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows, windows, doors, siding. Oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
Marler posted the Ladd McConkey rant from last week. You know what that means, right?
What does that mean?
That means now Georgia people are going to be all up in my mentions hating me. Bama people, A&M people are always in my mentions. I can't even go on Twitter anymore. They just, my mentions are polluted completely now. Now it's just going to be Georgia people all in my mentions.
Well, they don't really have a leg to stand on with that. Ladd McConkey stunk.
I'm not going to say Ladd McConkey stunk, but what I will say, so if you didn't hear it last week, Chris Doering ranked the top 10 SEC receivers of the last decade, and he had Ladd McConkey on the list. And I blew a gasket. And I don't even care about lists. I have a bit where I just make fun of stupid lists, but this one was so outlandish that I had to go off on it. And I did, and so Marler took it, and he turned it into a reel and a short now, and he's posting on all the social media, which is his job, is to take engaging content that people are going to look at and react to, and then post it. And he did. It's going to blow up my Twitter now.
Who's the next fan base? So you would see A&M, Bama, Georgia.
The A&M thing was with the Schloss.
Yeah, for sure.
And so I crushed them on that. Now and the interesting thing about like Instagram is you'll get like a second run. So like that, when was that? June?
Yeah.
That rant is now getting like a second run 60 days later, whatever it is. 45 days later. And so now they're all back on me again because people are seeing it now for the first time. And now the Ladd McConkey thing. I should create an account that just says, it's just like, I hate your team. I hate your SEC team. And I just rant about SEC teams. Not a bad idea.
I actually work well, yeah.
Who could be next? I don't know who's going to be next. Who does something that's worth yelling about?
Let's go for Tennessee. They're a lot of fun on Twitter.
Okay, I'll do that. Speaking of fan bases that are not happy with me, did you see what Jordan Reed over the NFL draft analyst over at ESPN did?
What you got?
He put out a list of the 10 college football teams with the most 2025 NFL draft prospects. And he put them into tiers. So tier 1, T-I-E-R, not T-E-A-R, although the team I'm about to talk about has a lot of crimson tiers.
little hint there.
Georgia in tier 1, along with Ohio State, Texas, Notre Dame, and that's it. Tier 2, Michigan. You take that down, Paul. I'm just scrolling. Tier 2 is Michigan, Ole Miss, LSU. That's it. And then there's tier 3.
Okay.
Penn State, Oregon, Alabama. Let me ask you a question, Muse. You like sports?
I do.
You follow sports a lot?
I do.
You follow college football a lot?
Absolutely.
Over the last 2 decades, if someone put out a tier list of NFL draft talent in college football programs, where would Alabama have been?
At the top.
Top tier.
Tier 1, yeah.
Tier 1.
S tier, if you will, yeah.
Hey, Muse, do you know the record for most consecutive years by one program to have a first-round draft pick? Did I say that correctly? You understand what I'm asking?
Yes.
The college football program that produced a first-round pick in the most consecutive drafts, not like all-time, most consecutive years with a first-round draft pick.
I don't know the number, but I'm guessing it was Alabama.
It was Alabama. Is Alabama.
Yeah, so it's ongoing.
You want to know the number?
Yeah.
16.
Wow.
Alabama has had a first-round pick in 16 consecutive drafts. You know how many first-rounders Jordan Reed is projecting for Alabama in next year's draft?
It's got to be at least one. You got to keep the streak going.
0.
Oh.
Again, they're in Tier 3 with Oregon and Penn. Good program.
Yeah.
They're projecting 9 draft picks in 2025 for Alabama.
Solid.
They're good. They're good. I've said it every Bama burning rant I've done forever. I'm not telling you they're going to be bad. They're good. They're just not what they were. And never will be again. Hey, we're brought to you by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. LMFJ.com, LMFJ.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. You know where to find them. 2 locations in Baton Rouge, Corporate Boulevard in Bocage, the Mall of Louisiana, New Orleans, Lafayette, Shreveport, 9 locations in all. Gents, if you're thinking of getting down on bended knee, popping that question, before you go buy that ring, make sure you go see our friends at Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Or maybe you got an anniversary you're celebrating, and years ago you bought that ring, and now years and years later, you gotten on and gotten up a little bit, and like the Jeffersons, you're moving on up. And maybe you could afford something nicer. How about you trade in the old ring for a newer, bigger diamond? Because as I learned when I bought Erica's diamond ring, bigger is better. They will never turn down a bigger diamond. So it's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. They can help. LMFJ.com, LMFJ.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. All right, it's been a really good show. Thanks for being here with us. Our Monday shows, as always, are brought to you by Relief Windows. Windows, door siding, reliefwindows.com. If you missed anything, our LSU practice report gave you my recap to Saints-Cardinals. We had Bill Bender last hour. Ross Jackson joined us from Irvine, California earlier this hour. Talked about the AP Top 25. Covered a lot of ground today, and we appreciate you for being here with us. Final break. We'll come back, do some Otter Locks, and what we learned. Don't you move. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Glow Resources. Man, been loving our partnership with Glow Resources. Loving hearing from so many businesses and business owners who have found Glow Resources and found efficiency because of Glow Resources. So many of us go through the hiring rat race. You interview, you're slow to hire, and even then sometimes you do hire and then you hire the wrong person. At Glow Resources, they're efficient and they're effective. As a matter of fact, at Glow Resources, they have a 93% retention rate. When they hire an employee for your job, they have a 93% retention rate. As a matter of fact, if the employee doesn't work out that they hire for you, they will give you a prorated refund or find a new employee for you for free. You can learn more at glowresources.com. Check them out online at glowresources.com. Skilled blue collar and all professional placement division employees. It's Glow Resources, glowresources.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $20,000 off new 23 Ram 1500 trucks. We're open for business in our beautiful new showroom and taking $20,000 off the powerful Ram truck. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product is always customer satisfaction.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows, windows, doors, siding. Oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
Down the stretch we come. Final segment here on the Monday edition of AFR, brought to you by Evermore. Drink plenty. You know one of the things people tell me they like about Evermore as well? Great taste, healthier option, hydration, all that stuff. People like the wide mouth bottle. You ever drink a bottle of water? It's got like the little bitty, and then the little bitty mouth on the bottle, and it's narrow. It's hard sometimes. Yeah. Big wide mouth bottle. They think of everything. Don't drink that stupid water from Texas or like foreign islands and stuff. Evermore's a Louisiana product. It tastes great. It's natural artesian water, straight from the ground into your bottle. Nothing added, nothing taken away. It's Evermore. Evermore.com, EVAMOR, Evermore.com, Evermore.com. Evermore, available at great local retailers. Okay, let's find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otter Locks. Here we
Otter
go.
Locks, presented by Lofton Staffing Services. At Lofton, we put people to work. Call us today at 924-0200 or go to lofton.jobs.
Otter, how are you?
Bonjour.
Oui, oui.
Hey, oui, oui.
Oh, oui, oui. Oh.
All right, let's get to it,
All right,
boy.
what we got?
Right.
What we got?
Yes, indeed. Houston at Tampa Bay. Last time Framber Valdez carried a no-hitter late to the game, but he only threw 107 pitches. Not a big deal. Bats are hot. Houston went in and smashed the Red Sox in Fenway. Astros, Framber's hitting his groove right now, and they are as well. They need to because Seattle's playing well. They swept over the weekend as well, taking the Astros minus short number on the road.
Okay, so that one's underway. I'm looking at minus 130 in the in game right now.
I dog it. Please. I mean, you wait to call me so late. You let the game get under. Yeah, take it. Go ahead, take it.
It's the last segment of the show every day.
I feel like it's been prioritized that way. But anyway, so
show.
Kid, these 5:30 and 5:40 start times have got it. Astros already up 1-0, split your bet. Now they're up to 205. My goodness.
I got it at 130. I got it at
Good for you.
130. Yeah.
Good for you.
Nice.
Take a little chunk at minus 1.5, minus what 10? It's probably
115. Yeah, minus 15.
Yeah. So there you go.
There you go.
All right. Really good three-team race in the American League Central. Minnesota had this thing all the way down to a game and a half. But the Guardians won the last two in Minnesota, so now it's back up to 3.5. Kansas City's been hot as well. These teams, now Kansas City goes to Minneapolis, St. Paul to take on the Twins in this little round robin going down the American League Central. Singer versus Lopez. I think Singer's got a little bit better numbers this year than Lopez. Lopez a little bit of the reputation respect with his line. It's up to 160, 170 some places. I'm getting as much as 140, 145. So take Kansas City at a price, a game that I think should be closer to pick 'em.
All right. KC plus 140. What else are we looking at?
And then, it's taking a little bit of a turn for the worse for Paul Skeens. He's dropped to third choice now for National League Cy Young. The leader now is at even money, Chris Sale. Chris Sale goes to San Francisco, Pitchers Park, against another red-hot pitcher. Last year's Cy Young winner, Blake Snell. He's come two back. You remember he pitched that no-hitter. So under. It's a low number at 6.5, but it's going to go under.
Okay.
Braves bat really struggling. Under 6.5, San Francisco and Atlanta.
All right. So we got Houston on the money line. KC plus money, plus 140. And Atlanta, San Francisco under 6.5. That's it?
Yes, indeed. That's it.
All right. Where are you tomorrow, Otter?
Tomorrow we're at Dozy, place on Government Street
Very
in
good.
the heart of Mid-City. Yes, indeed.
Just
Those are
steak
great.
and an old-fashioned. Great spot over there, man. All
Great
right,
lunch
Otter.
specials that they don't offer on a dinner menu, too.
What?
So, a totally different lunch menu that they offer. A lot of different menu items that they don't offer at dinner time.
I've never had lunch at those. I've
1 minute
eaten
remaining.
dinner plenty of times there, of course, but I've never had
Right.
lunch. I'll have to come join you one day.
Come by.
Would love to do it.
We're there every other Tuesday. Every other.
So I've
Musso
heard.
just went and ate a Burnside salad over at Mike Anderson.
All right, Otter.
I love when he keeps me in the loop, in his dining experiences,
Have a
I'm
great.
sending off BJ to
I
college.
know.
I need, come sleep over. Come hang out, Musso. Come on. son.
Let him off. I gotta go. We'll see, Otter. Thank you. All right, as we get on down the road, I got to remind you about Shawbill's Tire and Auto Service, ShawbillsTire.com. I'm trying to get the damn read in, and he won't stop talking about the salad, sending EJ off to college. Of course, I'll owe Shawbill's a full read. I'm not going to do a make good read tomorrow because we're out of time. Hey, look, bottom line, if you need tires, you go to Shawbill's. They're the absolute best. They treat you like family. ShawbillsTire.com. Shawbills, we keep you rolling. All right, been a great show. Muse, Paulie, appreciate you guys. Y'all have an awesome night. Tigers and Saints back on the practice field tomorrow. We'll have full reports. We'll see you then. It's AFR.
AFR.
As we get on down the road, remind you about the Williamson Eye Center. Man, last night was over. So today's my sister-in-law's birthday. Shout out JJ, happy birthday. We're over at in-laws' house for birthday dinner and all that stuff. My niece, who's a senior in high school now, not little anymore, but she started wearing glasses. And then we got into this whole conversation around the table about nearsighted and farsighted. This is what happens, I guess, when you get old. Who has readers? Who needs readers? And I piped up in the conversation. I was like, I'll never wear glasses again. And I mean that sincerely. My father-in-law's got readers all over the house, every room, every chair. He's got a pair of readers in case he needs them. I was like, I'll just never, ever mess with that again. I lived the life of contacts and glasses, and I'll just never do it again. Having LASIK is the best decision I made, and it has spoiled me rotten to be able to wake up every day and just see. And inevitably, I'll age, and other parts of my eye will age, and maybe I need a custom lens replacement, and I'll go see Dr. Blake Williamson, and I'll never wear contacts or glasses again. And you can do the same at the Williamson Eye Center.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want it. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Farming is a way of life for us. It's not something we get up in the morning and dread going do. It's just something we go to bed at night looking forward to getting up to go do. John Deere equipment is what we as farmers strive to have. It's in your blood, it's in your veins. It's just a part of who you are. Green is what we want to be in. The other tractors were acquired to patch it up to get to where you want to be. Where we want to be is in John Deere. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.